Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 619. It is October 29th, 2 days till Halloween, 2019. My name is Nick Henderson, and I'm joined by Brad Simons.
What's up?
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Guthridge. Krispy will be joining us shortly, but we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a lot of stuff lined up to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about The Outer Worlds, which is one of those games where all of us on the couch have been playing it, so that's pretty exciting. We're going to talk about some Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I'm sure Nolan and Brad are super excited to hear about. And
Disco Elysium, which I'm sure everyone else here is excited to
I'm
hear
actually
about.
really interested. That's one of those games that sounds really interesting and looks interesting that I know I'll never play. Just because I don't have the attention span to play like super text-heavy games,
or like maybe
really cool.
One day you'll say you bought it and be really excited about the fact that you bought it, but then never play it.
Yeah, I mean that's been known to happen. So we have a lot to talk about. So before we get too far into that, a couple reminders. One thing, if you're watching us live or listening for the first time and you have not yet joined our Discord, please do so. It's discord.gg/4player. Jump in there, say hi in the introductions channel, introduce yourself. We love to hear from you guys. Also, if you're interested in supporting us, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. You guys just helped us reach our most recent goal of 150 patrons, and we're going to be doing our next Project M event in December, and we are real close to figuring out what game we're going to be playing, so we'll make an official announcement about that very soon. And I think we're working towards our next goal of 175, in which we will be doing a themed month. Somebody had some recommendations. I think we have some in the comments here from last week that about what we might actually call these, Brad. These themed months. These like 1998
time capsules?
Months. No. I think we discussed that last week and decided that was a bad idea. A bad Nolan idea. I'm just kidding, Nolan. I'm sorry. Also, if you're watching it, don't forget since like I said, we are 2 days away from Halloween. This is probably going to be pointless for people who are listening to the show after the fact. But if you're watching us live, tune in tomorrow night. That's Wednesday and Thursday night for some Halloween streams. Chris Davis is going to play some Halloween Hitman. I'm going to be playing The Beast Inside both nights, and Brad's going to be finishing up Devotion, which he's going to talk about briefly on this episode. So we do have some horror stuff on the feed in the next couple days, so tune in for that. I want to read some feedback from last week.
Do it. I dare you.
Feedback. Of course, if you have anything you want to contribute to the discussions after our episode tonight, feel free to leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com on the post for this episode, and we will read it at the start of next week's show. Drew327 says, how about, and like I said, we were discussing what we might call these special themed months. He says, how about 4-player flashback, followed by the years. So 4-player flashback 1998, 4-player flashback 1995, that kind of thing. Not a bad idea.
I like it.
You like it? Cool. It's official. You just need
wait.
What?
Krispy hates it.
Possibly.
He might actually hate that. We'll ask him when he gets here. King Carry, again, we had a lot of people commenting because last week on the show, if you missed it, we spent the second segment talking about throwing around ideas and kind of deliberating about what games we might feature for our Project M event, which is going to be, if you're not familiar with it, like a kind of like a 24-hour stream where we all race through the same game. Last time we did it, we raised money for charity while we did it. It was a lot of fun. We raised I think over $3,000, which was really cool, and we raced through Super Mario 64. It was a ton of fun. We're going to be doing that again in December. Crispy's here. Oh my God, he dressed up.
Oh, it is our Halloween
Crispy
stream.
dressed up.
That's right. I completely forgot.
But
oh my goodness.
Halloween isn't.
How are you going to put that over your hat?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Trick question.
Oh, there we go. Nailed it. Look at that.
Got it.
Welcome,
What's up, guys?
Crispy. How are you doing?
Good.
Are you a witch?
He's clearly a warlock.
I'm a boy witch.
Oh, there we go.
How do you mash those two together?
Like a wizard.
A
witch.
A boy witch?
A bitch?
Hey!
Oh, look at that.
Got him. Totally deserve that. Thanks.
All right, Krispy, I got a question for you.
What?
Because last week we were discussing possible, because we were talking about when we do like 1998, 1996 month, those kinds of things. We were coming out like there's got to be a catchy name for it. We couldn't come up with anything
For what?
for like themed months where we do like 1998
Oh
month,
yeah,
96 month.
yeah.
What do you think of? And this is from Drew327, so feel free to shoot it down, criticize it however you want.
Hate it.
4-player flashback followed by the years, like 4-player flashback 1998.
I like it.
See, there you go. He likes it.
He doesn't love it.
I don't love it. I'm not in love with
He's
it.
He's not gonna quote Saving Private Ryan for this suggestion.
Yeah, love it. It's my favorite line in the movie. Actually, it's a great scene.
How about 4-player? Fuck you. We're playing old shit.
4-player.
4-player. Fuck you. We're playing old shit.
4-player. Fuck off.
4-player. Fuck off. We're playing old shit.
I'm too old for this shit.
I'm not too old for this shit.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Danny Glover month.
Isn't that kind of like, isn't that kind of confusing conceptually?
we're
Because
not
you're
for
saying
this.
like we're too old for these old games.
Yeah.
oh,
doesn't
you're
make
right.
sense.
That,
No,
if
we got-
We're not too old for this shit.
if we were doing a month that was nothing but new games, we would call it too old for this shit. Like if we were doing a month,
Or not too. So Mel Gibson wasn't too
Something
old for
with-
this shit.
That's
Only Danny
correct.
Glover was.
Something with fresh.
That joke is
4-player.
So not Danny Glover, but more like Mel Gibson month.
so something with Murtaugh.
Murtaugh
Wait,
month.
no, Riggs.
Riggs month.
Riggs.
Yeah,
Riggs.
month.
Murtaugh was Danny
Riggs.
Glover. Riggs.
Riggs month. Where
that joke is way too layered. I don't
I
think
know
anybody
that's
else-
the point. We're like British or something.
4-player Riggs the games.
But with two G's, and then everyone's like, "Why is this misspelled?"
All right. And then we have like a 20-minute video explaining the title. We'll upload that to YouTube.
And then we somehow try and fit that on an overlay where I say every step brings us closer to our next Danny Glover month on the stream. And every time we do it, it's the Danny Glover month.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
I know.
Like
That's why I like it.
We're getting too
All
old
these
for
young
this
people are like, why are they calling Donald Glover Danny? Like what?
No, this is a different person. This is a different person, you youngin.
4 players, Childish Gambino month.
shit. So like when you think of Danny Glover, you think of him as like, hey, that's Danny Glover, right?
I think of Angels in the
But
Outfield.
no one would ever think of Danny Glover as like a man. Like let's say Danny Glover walked into this room, right? Everyone in their head is thinking Danny Glover.
Correct.
No one is thinking of calling this respected actor Danny, right? No one's gonna call him Danny.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would probably call him Mr.
Daniel
Glover.
Glover.
It's like I can't bring myself to call Chris Davis Chris.
Yeah, Danny just seems like a teenager's name. I would never call him Danny.
Well, that's the same thing when you have like a person with the name Lester, but he's like 6. It's like, hey, Lester. You know what I'm saying? Like when someone has like a really old person name, but they're like a kid.
I would just call him Mo Lester. Mo Lester.
Next comment. Oh my god. King Carey says, all right, first of all, Krispy, last week on the show we deliberated games. We came up with a short list for the Project M.
Okay.
We'll fill you in on these shortly.
Dope.
So there's going to be a lot of comments here about our discussions from
Do you
last
know
week.
what name Malia really likes? And she wanted to call Henry this, but I was like, no, we can't do that. But if we were to ever have another boy, he's totally gonna be named Otis.
Otis. Like
Otis.
Milo and Otis?
Yeah, Otis.
Otis.
Like Otis Spunkmeyer.
Yeah,
Otis Simons.
like Otis. Yeah, that's a good kid's name. That's a good kid.
Yeah,
name.
but is it a good adult's name?
no, it's only a good adult. It's like a good old man's name.
Otis.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Otis.
Might as well name him Bertram.
Yeah.
Why not? King Carey says, from the short list, Banjo-Kazooie would get my vote. It has a good length, it's super raceable, memorable, and topical-ish with the inclusion of Banjo-Kazooie in Super Smash this
The
year.
only reason
Not what I call it.
I poo-poo that is because that's basically the same thing as the last project.
Yeah,
we
it's
did.
very, very similar. Instead of stars, we'd be going for jiggies. You know,
Exactly.
it's-
Mario 64 and Banjo are quite similar.
But you know what? Mario 64, I know, out of all the Project M's we've done, all 2 of them, I would say that one was the best one we've done.
Probably.
I mean, I know that's,
Yeah.
But he says, mix that with a little Untitled Goose Game and you have yourself a Project M, quote unquote, Bear and Birds. I like where he's going with that. Brad, do you have anything to say about?
I heard another person say that Goose Game sucked.
Then it must be official, Brad.
Guess it sucks.
Uh,
Don't play it.
Equack says, hearing Nick talk about the games he's played is like someone doing the dishes to avoid studying.
What?
One day, Sam Lake will tune into your stream and weep as you replay Red Dead Redemption 2 for the third time. He's basically saying, I'm choosing to replay Red Dead Redemption 2 instead of playing Max Payne for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In my defense, everybody has their own, opinions and likes and
Everyone's
whatever.
allowed to play what they want to play.
I'm just saying.
Except Krispy.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most joyful experiences I've ever had playing a video game. I don't think I'll never be able to say that about Max Payne. I've played 2 or 3 solid hours of Max Payne, and it's a good video game.
Mm-hmm.
But it has
play the second one.
It's got nothing for me on Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm just saying.
Well, say that when you finish it.
I see what you did there. Live at the Milky Way says, I think it would be pretty interesting to see you quote unquote race a stealth game, since stealth games require finesse and patience. Take Hitman Blood Money, for example, with a rule that everyone has to complete the level with professional rank or better. It'd be cool to see how you all decide to go about making the hit. Conceptually, cool idea. In practice, we would be so mad, I feel like.
Well, Nolan and I did Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, but
As a race.
But were you? That's true. But were you also? I mean, that doesn't have like a ranking system like Hitman does. So like the
You
caveat.
just gotta get out of the first room.
Well, no,
and
yeah,
you're fine.
yeah. Well, anytime an alarm went off, like they were after us, we had to tase ourselves in the testicles.
Yeah,
So it was a tough race.
I did not like that.
Wait, you raised him in Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, it was
the two of us.
for a mini Project M.
How is that fair?
It was fun.
Wait, wasn't it? Wait, didn't y'all do Twin Snakes?
Yeah,
Yeah. Not the same.
because there was 2 of us playing.
Twin snakes.
Yeah.
gotta-
Oh, I get it. I get it. You know what? Like I said, I think one of these ideas of doing like a stealth game race would be fun, but taking it even farther and saying you have to get professional rank or better. That means like someone could finish this game. Like I bet Nolan or Chris Davis could probably finish this game, and myself, I would probably be still stuck on the second level.
You know what
Trying to
professional
get-
rank requires, right?
I mean, I assumed it's
No alarms.
No alarms. You can't
no
be spotted.
bodies
No
found.
video recordings. No bodies. You have to take out your suit, so you can't like leave your suit behind.
I would still be on the second level by the time y'all finish the game.
No video recordings. Is it You have to,
Guaranteed.
go find the tape.
Exactly.
And can you imagine?
It is if you get seen. If you don't
Yeah.
get seen, it's fine.
And can you imagine the frustration level watching the other people slowly get farther and farther and farther ahead of you? Oh my God! You thought Super Mario 64 was bad. Jesus Christ, that would be awful. But I do appreciate the suggestion. Fuzzy Turd says, and I'm sorry you don't have your mic hot right now to respond to this.
He can yell.
Have we figured this out yet?
Just scream.
I don't know
across
where
room.
the cable is.
Maybe we'll save Modern Warfare for the second segment so we can figure out the
Sure.
cable situation. Fuzzy Turd says, "Dear Chris Davis, you sorry, there's no dear. Scratch that. Chris Davis, you dingus. They do throw the doll away in Annabelle, and it kept coming back. That's clever writing to let you know the characters are uber fucked from the get-go. Also, y'all should play Jack 2 or Jack 3 for Project M."
Wait, were we talking about Annabelle the movie last week?
He mentioned that he saw the
that.
most recent Annabelle, which I also did as well. And Chris Davis had the brilliant idea of, why don't they just throw it in the garbage?
Why is
Trash compactor,
Why-
incinerator,
why-
so many things you could do.
Yeah, why is every
They put it in the
doll
trash
haunted?
compactor, but then they shut down the trash compactors on level 4
First of
So
all,
it
we
didn't
clarified
On the
last week.
detention
on the detention.
We
level.
clarified this last week, but Annabelle is a very special kind of haunted. It's not like
The fuck does that mean?
the doll doesn't get up and move around. The doll does not hurt anybody. The doll does not attack anybody.
Doesn't actually do anything.
all the
It's not
doll-
actually haunted.
All the doll does, it's like a beacon for like negative evil entities or whatever. So like as soon as you let it out of its case, it like all of a sudden all the spirits appear and the demons like hone in on it. And
Which, by the way, they just keep in a house with their children or their daughter,
but they keep it locked in a special room, Brad.
yeah. But the actual case that she's in has one little flimsy lock on it.
Yeah, because they know it's bullshit.
Just leave the house.
I feel like Chris Davis has never watched a horror
Yeah,
movie
he's never
in his
watched a
life.
horror movie. The shit that doesn't let
Yeah,
you
'cause
go.
my horror movies would end in 5 minutes.
Brad,
Oh,
no,
shit,
they
there's the
don't.
killer.
Chris Davis is over here thinking he would suddenly be the smartest person. I
He's-
guarantee
he's
you.
seen one
They
horror
would
movie
make
in
$1
his
billion
life.
He's the first one to die.
Yeah.
All right. Also, he says he's recommending Jack 2 or Jack 3 for Project M, and I know what you're doing. Jack 2 and Jack 3 are stupid hard. Stupid hard. That would be terrible. Like, all these suggestions, like, some of these suggestions are really cool in theory, but, like, super fucking hard and will be super frustrating by, like, hour 5. And these got to go for, like, 15 to 20 hours. So, anyways, appreciate the suggestion. And our last comment tonight comes from Slopdog. He
Slop
said,
dog.
would love to see Resident Evil 4 or Shadow of the Colossus with some Final Fantasy Midgar, but preferably would enjoy Resident Evil 4 the most for Project M. And I gotta say,
I could get down with.
so you would be on board for
I could
Resident
get
Evil 4?
down with either with that or Shadow of Colossus.
The thing
or-
we talked about Shadow of the Colossus, it's on the short list. The problem with Shadow of the Colossus is I think we all are familiar enough with it that we would probably finish it pretty quick.
What
But
if
if we're doing other stuff,
Hold on.
I feel like that would be a
Hold
good
on.
mini project.
Let's take a step back. What if
Oh god.
you don't win until you get to the top of the tower?
Oh shit.
What about that?
Not a terrible idea.
What about that?
I don't like that idea at all. That's not fun. It's
How long does that realistically take though?
I think you have to beat the
You
game
have to get
probably at
all of-
least. Oh, so you can either collect all the stuff,
we would
or
spend
if you
so
beat the
long-
game multiple times, you'll get the boost as well.
We would spend so long hunting lizards, right?
yeah.
Oh my god, how fun would that be to watch?
not.
the best part of the game.
He also goes on to say, and I gotta say, with how Anodyne 2 had been described during this episode, how weird it sounded only made me want to look into it more. Cheers, fellas. Thanks for the recommendation.
Cool.
You're very welcome.
Cheers yourself.
Cheers yourself, and happy Halloween to you, gents and ladies. Again, thank you guys very much for the feedback. If you want to leave a comment for next week, just go to 4playernetwork.com, find the post for this episode, number 619, and leave us a comment, and we'll read it next week.
Do it.
All right. So we're gonna shuffle some things around. We had some plans, but we were gonna talk about Call of Duty with Chris Davis, but we don't have the mic situation figured out right now. So we're gonna push that to the second segment, which means Brad, you're gonna talk about Disco Elysium in this segment. Is that cool?
Is my footage ready to go?
Everything's always
But
ready.
we're gonna do that later while he figures out the
Is
Disco
it?
Elysium.
Wait, did he
footage.
even restart? Uh-oh. Okay.
We're gonna start this week by talking about the game that we've all been playing, right? Everybody's name was on the dock.
Do it.
This is a rarity. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but we've all been playing The Outer Worlds
Damn.
from Obsidian Entertainment.
Oh, Nick
Not-
got the name right.
Yes, I got it
Outer-
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Outer Worlds.
dude. I swear to God, every single time I go to say it, I have to stop for a second
Is
and think.
there a "the" in front of?
No.
Oh.
The other.
Then I got it wrong.
No, it's Outer Wilds and The Outer World.
Is
Okay,
it?
so I
the
got it
other
right.
one doesn't have a "the."
Okay, so Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds are two games that came out in 2019, and they're both stellar, and you should play both of them.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about The Outer Worlds. Okay, we haven't really come to the decision this is a stellar game yet, but I think we're
Nick thinks it's stellar.
Okay.
Game of the year. Hey, better than Days Gone? Question mark.
Is that going to be your joke every time I say I love
It's
a
not
game?
a joke. It's a legitimate question.
But
What?
You're trying to get me to spoil my top 10 list before the year's even
No
over.
one cares. I mean,
Yeah.
Spoilers
gonna
for a
put out,
top 10 list?
We're
Come
going to
on.
put out a pirated Nick's top 10 list before
hey,
Nick gets
surprise!
his
Slay
It
the
got
Spire is
leaked.
going to be on my top 10 list.
It got leaked. Next top 10 list got leaked.
No,
You'll
the-
never believe what number 4 is.
No, this is not better than Days Gone. You should all fucking play Days Gone, you monsters.
You're fucking
Well,
terrible,
I don't even want to
Nick.
hear about this game, although I've been playing it.
All right, so you've been playing it. And we're all decent amount into
No,
it,
I'm
right?
not.
No? How
I'm still
What-
on the first planet.
Does
Dude,
getting,
I'm still technically on the first. I did the first planet. I left, and then I came back.
Okay. I'm
about-
still in the first town area.
You're in
Edgewater.
Edgewater.
I'm still doing Edgewater.
which sounds like a
stuff.
Red Dead Redemption town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's weird.
Yeah. Crispy, how far are you in Outer Worlds?
I just got off the first planet.
Cool. And then you're about 15 hours.
Yeah.
I'm about like 11 hours.
And y'all
I'm
like Fallout games?
Okay, so here's the.
I
here's
think
the
I
thing.
do.
But here, you know what this game does?
I remember liking Fallout games.
You know what this game does for me? It kind of this, first of all, it's very obvious that this is very much like Obsidian's like, we enjoyed making a Fallout game.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to make another Fallout game, so we're going to make something that's as close to it as humanly possible, but we're going to put our own spin on it. So, yes, very obviously, right out of the gate, this feels like a Fallout game.
Yeah.
But this game, to me, because I've always kind of associated Obsidian games with being kind of janky messes, right? Even though they've had some good ideas in the past, they've all been kind of janky for one reason
they're
or
like
another.
ugly and janky.
Yeah. I don't find.
Not
I don't.
all, but
No,
I
okay.
mean, that's not what they're known for. I guess what they're mostly known for is like good writing.
I know. I'm getting there. But what I'm saying
Doing
is like
sequels that intelligent people think are better than the originals, like KOTOR 2 and
this
New
was
Vegas.
pretty funny because this whole scenario, I'm talking with these two cops at this space station, and I'm like, hey, can I get behind there to get this thing I'm trying to get from the evidence locker? And he's like, no, I can't let you back here. It's illegal. And then I come out of the conversation with him, and Pavardi is back there. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing back? How did you get back there?
Wait, how did she get back there?
How did she get back there? And then after I come out of, you'll see it again when I come out of this conversation.
That is fucking
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is they are known for having really good writing, and I think this game does have fantastic writing. But for some people like myself who kind of maybe associate it with being pretty janky in some of their releases, this kind of proves that what made Fallout New Vegas special probably really had nothing to do with the Fallout IP at all.
No,
it was all. I mean,
a little bit. Yeah.
But like this is so heavily lifted out of like Fallout, but it is completely obviously devoid of Fallout stuff. It's they've created their own universe, created their own like kind of concept, but they've of course layered on their own leveling system, perk system, and dialogue and stories and all that stuff. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Now they're both
what the
back
fuck
there.
are they doing back
And
there?
they're all just looking
I know.
at you.
I'm like, wait, we're not supposed to be back there.
That is hilarious. See, that's a glitch I can get behind. Not even a glitch, but like that's a mistake I can get behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, my first impression from this game was, wow, this is kind of what it would feel like to play a Fallout game that wasn't a janky mess.
Yeah. So here, let me let's
harsh on Fallout.
I love Fallout.
Yeah,
I love
thank
Fallout.
you. Let's take a
they
step back
janky
real quick.
messes?
So what I want to say is, yes, does this feel like a Fallout game? It does. Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. The people who created this game created the original Fallout.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sure.
What I will say, and I kind of was messaging Brad a little bit about it on Twitter, is more so gameplay aside, I'm really fucking enjoying the characters in this game, the conversations that you're having in the world. I feel like in a lot of like, especially like maybe like Fallout 4, a lot of stuff kind of fell flat. It was a conversation. It's like, oh, these people are attacking me, kill them for me, kind of things. Whereas in this, it's more the characters actually seem like their motivations are found like just. They have some actual reason behind it. Everything in the world seems like it's
genuine.
there for a reason. Yeah,
And one of my favorite things about the dialogue in this game is that your teammates can interject into conversations.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
way
first. That's a first, right?
more than in other Fallout. No, other Fallout games they have, but I think it's all only usually when it's like kind of story, or like about their quest.
Like the person you're talking to will literally like turn, like instead of looking straight at you, you'll see them kind of turn as if they're talking to the person next to you.
It's more BioWare.
So that's what I was going to bring up. So it's more BioWare, and so if Brad is saying where he's at, you only have one companion.
Yes.
I can have two companions with me
Yes.
when I'm traveling. And so depending on the two companions I have, similar to BioWare games, when we're out in the world doing shit, they'll just start talking to each other.
That's cool.
And some of the best conversations. And someone...
Hey, this looks
this
better than every fucking factory
right?
building that I've been into.
And so, as soon as you get off that first planet, Terra 2, like some more stuff starts happening.
Okay,
There's some better stuff.
Cool.
And so I have this one, and Jaeger had mentioned it on Twitter, Sam. He's like a robot.
Yeah.
But he's like...
I haven't gotten him yet.
If anyone remembers Mike TV from the show Reboot...
I don't.
I know probably no one's going to remember. That's fine. But anyway, Mike TV was like... He was like a 80s, like... He was like the personification of like an 80s guy on like a show trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's only $99.99 kind of stuff like that. And that's what Sam is, like a fucking product placement robot. He's like a robot who's like, he's designed to clean, and the whole time you're out in the world doing stuff, all he does is talk about cleaning things. Like, oh, clean up on aisle 3, and it's like, oh, it's going to take a lot of, and he's some name brand thing to clean that up. And like,
that's
it's
fucking hilarious.
like all these conversations, and I was traveling with a new companion that I just got, and she was like, oh, hey, Sam, how would I get this type of blood out of this? And he's like, oh, well, you would need blah, blah. And it's just these conversations about like just random shit, but everything has to do with cleaning.
Like cleaning products and stuff that he's trying to sell you. That's brilliant. I love that stuff. And like that kind of ties into just the overarching like concept of this game, which is basically that like in this part of the solar system or galaxy or whatever, like everything is run by this, everything
Mike
is,
the TV.
Mike the TV. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Mike TV's from Willy Wonka.
That's what
that's
I
right.
was
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh.
His name was Mike the TV.
Oh god, that was bothering
Or
me.
TV Mike or something like that. Yeah. Sorry.
Boyd Cooper in chat says, so like Claptrap, but not the worst.
Why is this woman so dirty?
Because she's the head engineer on this ship.
Clean faces mod. When
So that's another thing I will say is this footage is like, I was super early. This is like my second time sitting down to play the game.
Yeah.
Now I've added a lot of mods. So I have a mod that like pretty much gets rid of all of the HUD.
Clean
So
faces
it's super clean.
I was kind of
looking.
bummed that the HUD was it's pretty cluttered. But
Yeah, so I got a mod that cleans it up, and also I got a mod, which I almost do every single time I play a PC game, that gets rid of all of the intro like titles. So when you boot up the game and it's like Obsidian and this and Unreal Engine, but it takes like 45 seconds to get to the title screen.
cleaner face.
Okay, sure. I don't have a mod.
Get
for
out there
anything
and
else.
start developing it then, Brad.
I want a
You
clean
make
face
the
mod where you actually get to pull out like
just wipe.
a cloth and like wipe their face for them.
Oh my god. You know what's fun? So that I'm assuming everyone here is playing it on PC.
Nope.
Yes.
No?
No
PS4.
PS4.
Oh, okay. So I'm playing. So I got it on Game Pass.
I got Game Pass to play this game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What Game Pass on PC or Game Pass on Xbox?
PC.
Yeah,
No, I'm asking Nick.
PC.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing this on PC, and
Yeah, me too.
I'm
Because Game Pass was a bug.
I saw
I know.
this. Yeah, I saw this at E3 a couple months ago, and I saw a demo of it, and it didn't strike me as a particularly good-looking game. But I popped into this and was like, "Holy shit!
They polished it
This
a little
is
bit.
this looks way better than pretty much."
This is a PC. You were probably
No.
saw it on
I
a-
was at a behind closed doors like demonstration of it. Why would
But
they be
what-
playing that on console?
Well, maybe they were. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they were.
It happened.
But it does look. It's a nice looking game. It's like and it's surprisingly like polished. Like it doesn't have a lot of the. I mean, there's some things that crop up here and there that remind you of like standard like Fallout jank. But like it's a pretty smooth, polished experience.
I like slow mo better than VATS.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's
time TTD, the time dilation, whatever.
the
Distortion or whatever.
It's slow mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is they actually came up with like some hilarious like bullshit explanation, like science explanation as to why you can slow down time, which is just kind of the humor that this game exudes, like in everything. They try to explain everything around with this like around this concept of everything's corporate, everything is everything has been
up, guys.
Wait, what?
I went Melee. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have gone Melee
Yeah, why did you go melee?
because I wanted to do something different. I don't know.
I've used a melee weapon like
So
twice in this game.
Brad, I will say that I've played multiple Fallout games multiple times.
Yeah.
I generally don't do melee on my first playthrough. I'll generally because I've played 3 multiple times. I've played New Vegas multiple times. 4 I've only played once. But for the most part, whenever I'm playing a Fallout style game, I will generally do guns my first playthrough, and then the second time around do melee.
This is every. The problem is the skill system doesn't seem fair and balanced. Where it's like if you do guns, one leveling up guns is like you're doing handguns, rifles, and heavy weapons.
So hold on.
But
hold on.
with melee, it's just one-handed and two-handed, and it's like that doesn't have nearly the utility of leveling up the one gun.
So I will
category.
say that, Brad, for those level ups, that only happens until you get to level 50.
yeah.
As soon as you get to level 50 on any skill, you can't do that group. You can't you can't level up everything in that group anymore.
Yeah.
You have
So-
to individually
But the
put the points
dodge
in.
and block tree also seems kind of underwhelming.
I
so
haven't
it's
been
like-
putting many points into that.
Well,
So,
yeah, because it's
kind
more
of
of a melee thing, I think.
Kind of the big thing for me with this game, and that the reason I'm surprised is like the thing that stands out, which is what makes me love this game as much as I do, is actually like the skill system and the perk system and like the way they handle it, because it is actually a really creative way of doing it. So like you level up in this game like you would any other like Fallout style game, right? And instead of giving you like 1 or 2 points to put into things, they give you 10 points every single time, and you can distribute them among things like range combat, melee combat, tech, science, dialogue, all that stuff. And each one of those groups has 3 subcategories that levels up each one of those by 1. So essentially you allocate 10 points and you level up 30 individual skills until you hit level 50 in any one of those, and then you can actually go into the group and you have to allocate individual points to each subcategory.
Do you
right?
think you like it more because it's kind of simplified?
It's definitely simplified.
And you're not like a menu guy.
That is probably exactly why I love it. But it's also really tactile in that you can watch, like as you scroll through the list and you see all the categories, it comes on the right side. It shows you what each. They have their own like bars that are filling up, and as you reach like milestones on the bars, it shows the ability that you unlock, or like the passive ability or innate ability that you unlock. So you can literally see, what you
get. If I put more points into this, I'm going to get this thing out of it,
and that's what I like. Yeah. I love that.
It's very clear what you're going to get.
Yes.
There's no surprise. It's not like in Fallout when you level up, when you hit certain levels, you've unlocked these abilities. Now you have to choose which one, blah, blah, blah. Whereas in this, like you know what you're working towards at like earlier on.
I've been as soon as I kind of got a feel for like how good the dialogue in this game was, I started leaning very heavily into like a dialogue build.
Well, yeah, because again, that's where another place it doesn't seem kind of fair and balanced, because when you're leveling up dialogue, not only are you getting bonuses to all your dialogue options and you can talk your way out of situations, but you're also getting in-combat effects from that, which is kind of the only tree or whatever you want to call it that does that. So I almost feel like leaning towards dialogue because you're getting that sort of double bonus inside.
Can somebody explain how the dialogue,
as opposed to like block and dodge, which...
Can somebody explain the dialogue bonuses in combat?
It affects how enemies react when certain statuses get applied to them. Yeah. So if you get the status that makes them kind of like scared or whatever, it affects like the range of that and how long it lasts and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, it's like once you hit level 20, it starts affecting different types. So so like when you get level 20 with Intimidate, when you kill a person, other humans around them have a chance
to power and fear and stuff
like
that.
Which is cool, but like... I don't know. Like I was kind of hoping that like dialogue skills would be less combat focused.
Yeah, see, I didn't even. I was,
but they are also outside of combat.
Yeah, I mean they unlock.
And that's why
unlock extra dialogue options. Yeah. But I mean it's like, but there isn't like any situation to like initiate a conversation that you normally wouldn't be able to initiate to like subvert a combat kind of thing,
but like
know?
Sure, but
even though
you are supposed to be able to go through this whole game without killing anyone.
But even though it does open the dialogue options,
with a lot of stealth, I bet
it opens the bonus dialogue options. But even like so, if you level up your intimidation or persuasion or whatever, it opens up those additional dialogue options. But even then, those options are still dice rolls, and you can see the percentage.
They're not dice rolls anymore. That's not how it works. You have to be that level.
Yeah.
Your ability
it's
has to
threshold.
be. Yeah, it's a threshold.
Go back to that other outfit. Damn it, it's footage.
You can't do it. This isn't live.
Yeah. There's some pretty cool outfits in this game. And I just got a top hat, and then I also have a hat that is the moon. Well, like I have one of those.
Spacer's Choice.
Yeah, it's Spacer's
I
Choice.
I feel like it's very strange that you can equip weapons and armor to your companions, but you can't remove them. You can only replace them.
Correct. Yeah.
So like I put one of the first things I did was give a helmet to Pavardi. So and then it was like full like face covering thing, and I was like, I can't see your face anymore. So I was like, I'm gonna
you can turn that off.
The only thing you can
in the options, you can turn off helmets,
so it just won't show it while she has it equipped.
It doesn't really bother me.
The funny thing is it does affect their voices though. Yeah. So if you have the helmet equipped, their voices are more echoey.
Oh. Yeah. So even when you're in conversations, because when you're in conversations, it shows their face every time.
Yeah. No, outside of combat. So like when you're not. So when you're just walking on the world and they're having a conversation.
Gotcha. By the way, Pavardi is great.
Dude, honestly, every character I've met so far, every companion has been pretty great.
Yeah,
are they all from Firefly or just
no
Pavardi?
They're not.
Yeah, I like how the main character even kind of talks like Mal sometimes, and some of the dialogue options. It just kind of like What's something that
You can
Mal
be
would
pretty
say?
sassy.
Like his style of like intimidation is very
Like,
Mal.
I mean to misbehave or some shit like
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
the Malisms.
Yeah, when you can be kind, and I will say that I do feel like
Havarti is just Kaylee, right?
yeah, I do feel that this game has a better sense of when I'm kind of using those tones when I'm being not like the friendly person. I feel like there's less repercussions to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of say something sassy or whatever to somebody, they're not going to immediately start shooting me because of it.
Yeah.
Whereas in other Fallout games, if you said something negative, they're like, kill him.
Like, you've insulted my whole family.
Yeah, exactly. Where in this,
I didn't mean
I
to.
was literally having a conversation with a guy, and he's like, dude, you might as well punch me in the face. And so I did. And then he was like, why did you do that? And then one of the options was like, well, you told me to. And he's like, fair point.
And that was the end of the interaction.
He was like, all right.
See,
Yeah.
that stuff's pretty great. It's
I-
also like some of the side characters, like a lot of the side characters have their own like side stories, and I'm like
all of them do so far.
super invested in, which
Yeah.
is pretty nice.
Yeah, no, I've unlocked all 6 companions. And so far, all of them have like side quests and actual kind of goals that they're trying to reach and stuff. The one
Very
I most
Bioware.
Yeah, the one the one I most recently unlocked. Shit, I forget her name now. But she's on one of the later planets you go to, and you meet her in a bar. And
How many
like,
planets have you gone to?
Uh,
Because I did Terra 2. I went to the space station, and then I went to another side of Terra 2. But there's like 4 other places I could technically go. And dude, it's weird. I went to How Long to Beat. And maybe this is just because it's an early, but like there's already like 30 or 40 people that have put their record times in it. It says like to beat the story in this game, 10 hours.
I'm sure you could.
I know, but
The current speed run's 30 minutes.
and then like, oh my god,
What?
Yeah.
And then like story plus
Which one?
extra says like 15 hours, and I'm like, I'm like 11 hours in, and I've only seen one planet.
I hear this is more compact than.
I mean, it's nice. It's like you can go to one planet and know that if I spend a couple hours here, I can probably do and see most of the content on this planet. And in fact, one of the things I like about it, I'm a big fan of open world games. And I think you said in Discord earlier this week, you were talking about maybe it's the fact that maybe it is so polished because they didn't take the Fallout route,
giant open
where it's just a
world,
giant
yeah.
open world. So like each of these areas that you go to is a lot smaller, but they're still open. You can still explore.
They're
There's still stuff
open,
to
but they're
find.
definitely nowhere near as big as like Fallout games.
Oh, yeah.
it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, when Fallout 4 came out, they're like, guys, this is how big the game is compared to other. It's so big. Whereas in this, it's like it doesn't matter the size of the game because
It's what they do with it.
It's because all of the fucking stories and the people you interact with and stuff, that is where the quality is. It's when you go to a little town, you don't need to have this giant fucking 30-acre village. To have, you have this tiny little town with like 10 different people and a couple of different houses you can interact with, and they all have good stories, and it's all...
I have a few questions. A couple questions about.
Cool.
While you're
Okay.
trying to find your words, I just want to say Technology in chat says he read reviews saying this was a short game with replay value. I agree with that statement, but like nothing about my playthrough so far has made me feel like this is a short game. I've spent 12 hours already, and I know there's still a ton more for me to see.
It's like I said, it's a scenario where it depends on how you play the game. If you only do the main story and maybe some of this like just very minor side quests, I'm sure you can beat this pretty quick.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm just not getting main story and side quests. I'm getting main story, side quest, companion quest, tasks from villagers. Like there is a shit ton of stuff you can do in this game.
Yeah, for
So
what's up, Brad?
So a lot of this game is kind of like a streamlined, breezy version of Fallout. Maybe,
Yeah.
A little bit to some degree. The one thing that is very Fallout is the way like the looting works and the way that the scavenging works. And my question for you, well, okay, so that's unrelated, but I kind of wish that was also streamlined a little bit because you're picking up as much like stuff, looting as many containers.
I will say that I have from this footage to where I am now, I do play completely different. I interact with less stuff in the environment. I don't really care to pick up as much.
One of my
stuff
motivations for going melee was like I just don't want to be picking up like a bunch of stuff, and
That's a good
if I'm
point.
running firearms, I'm gonna be running melee.
I mean, here's the thing.
I'm gonna be running ammo.
I pick up
ammo.
First of all, the big difference between this and Fallout in terms of like loot and stuff is like you can't pick up anything that's on the, like you can't just walk up to like a can and pick it up because you can. Like
Correct.
You can only loot things and find specific items that
Sure,
are actually
but there's
have-
shit like everywhere.
Yeah, and there's a ton of shit, but like So
the other reason though is like, and I don't really quite understand it. I come to like doors and chests that are like locked, and I need like materials to like open them.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I feel like I have
That's
to
what I-
loot
that's what I-
everything, because I
yeah.
feel like if you're not exploring every inch, you're not going to have the stuff to actually open these things, which probably has the better stuff in it. I don't even understand it. Like, is it lock picking that's requiring materials?
Yes.
And then I come to another door that looks like it's requiring a different material, oftentimes like a lot more. Like I have like 10 of 20 or something.
So yeah, so,
is
so
that?
I'm still
Rod shaped things you pick.
yeah,
well. That's for hacking stuff, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, maybe that's what it is.
So I think, and so hold on. I will say, I still have no fucking idea how any of that works. I do think it's skill based, so what your skill level is, but it seems like I don't.
As you
like,
level up that skill, you can unlock doors using less of those items.
Is that how that works?
I'm pretty sure. So like
Because
a door that when you like at level 1 would take you like 10 of those circular things.
Also, the level up influences how long it takes.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
The amount of time.
So, like,
That's
if you level
pointless.
up your lock picking enough, like hacking doors and containers will be like instant.
Yeah, very
Gotcha.
quick. So, but like what I did was I went up to something that I was trying to pick the lock on, right? And it said like 40/5.
Yeah, you need
And-
both those materials.
And so I unlocked it and I went to the next one and it said like the same numbers, like nothing had changed. And so I was like, nothing seemed like it went down.
Yeah, it's like a threshold thing.
No, I think it said
Like it didn't seem like I used any resources.
It's like a threshold thing. Well, like I had an equipment that boosted my lock picking, and then when I put that on, it required less materials to lock pick a crate.
Before we move off of loot, can we just like
It's just
give a
weird.
special mention to the fact that they put a perk in this game that lets you fast travel while you're over encumbered?
Oh,
true, too.
so the perks
Like-
and the flaw system's
Like,
really cool.
come on,
okay.
that's fucking dope, and that deserves
That is great, and
that
but
deserves top 10 for that alone.
the problem is not problem. It's the opposite of a problem. Like I haven't even come close to encumbering myself
Oh,
yet.
shut up!
I don't know what it is. Like I'm breaking. If there's a weapon that I would not
Shut
even
the
entertain
fuck
using,
So
I break
I
it
will
down
say I agree
immediately.
with Nick. I do break down a lot of stuff that I interact with.
I can
'cause it's
carry
like,
120 weight, and I've never gone over 100.
I know I don't need to interact with some like use some weapon. I'll immediately break it down, and same with like clothing and stuff. The only stuff
You're
I'm
playing
picking
wrong,
up
Nick.
I probably am.
is food based stuff or like healing stuff.
Does that
which
take up weight?
It does, but there also is a perk that halves the amount of weight food takes.
There's so much.
And
of
the thing is, the way it took me forever to realize how like the food kind of stuff works is you don't just like you. I mean, you can kind of use it, but you can. There's a lot of like items you can attach to your healing. So when you go and breathe in that
Yeah.
healing, it's
It
a
gives you-
mixture of things. So you put each of them in those slots, and you get all of
getting
those
all that
benefits.
every
You
time, yeah.
combine them all. It took me
So
forever
leveling
to
up-
realize that.
Leveling up medicine unlocks more slots.
You're blowing my mind right now. I didn't know that.
But
That's
it's
crazy.
still like a little too fiddly. Unless you're playing on hard. Is anybody playing on hard?
No.
I'm playing on
no.
normal.
I feel like unless you're playing on hard, you don't even need to really mess with
Yeah,
that shit.
dude, I have a.
I mean, I'm
where
12
at
hours
the
in,
game,
didn't know that existed.
Where I'm at in the game now, just that base item that you need for healing, I have like 180 of it.
Kind of wish I was playing on hard, but
I think you
know
can change it at any time.
If I did, I would have to loot more thoroughly because
Probably,
some
yeah.
of that stuff would become more important. And
So Tack in chat is asking. He says, "I'm farther in the game. Do the guns feel more beefy than the first pea shooters you get?" They do. You start getting some really cool guns. You start getting some. Once you start getting into modifying the guns, adding plasma and electricity and stuff like that, and even some of the later guns, they do feel like they do a whole lot more damage than those first few.
3 quick things. One, just in relation to like the food items and loot, I just want to say it's hilarious. Like some of the clever writing is in like the
Oh,
naming
yeah.
of things. I love that you pick up bananas and they're called bunch of nanners.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. But 2, the one thing about this game that I think bothers me the most that I don't like the way the guns feel. For the most part, they feel.
I mean, it's just a little Fallout-y.
Yeah, and maybe it's a combination of the way the guns feel in conjunction with just kind of like maybe the way the enemies react when they're hit doesn't always feel satisfying. There's been a few times where it's awesome, but that is one thing you can always say about Fallout, like the
That's
bat system almost always resulted in like some really cool like effects and shit. You get a lot less of that. It does happen.
Another reason I went melee because I knew the guns weren't going to feel that great, or that I know they didn't really.
Also,
feel that great.
I went almost 8 hours before I realized how the companion abilities work. I didn't even realize they were mapped to the D-pad.
You need to start reading your tooltips.
Dude, that's why I can't play Disco Elysium because I don't read shit. I can't stand it.
If you don't know how to read, definitely don't play Disco Elysium, Nick.
I do know how to read. And the third thing I want to say, and you briefly mentioned it a second ago, but I think one of the coolest systems in this game that I've never seen anywhere before. Maybe just because I don't play these kinds of games as often. The flaw system.
Oh yeah.
I think it's so fucking cool. So like if you
that is definitely a thing in other games, even Fallout, it's just sort of
I've never seen it
presented differently.
Yeah, maybe that's just the way it's presented, but like I think it's really cool. Like you can, so if I keep accidentally taking steps off of roofs and like falling and like hurting my foot, so like I'm like crippled or whatever. So like after I did it like 3 or 4 times, it was like we've discovered a flaw in your system, and you can either choose to accept the flaw and say that you take more damage every time you fall off a roof or whatever.
No, it's more dramatic than that actually.
I mean, I'm just giving an example of how it works. You can take the flaw so that you get a permanent increase into like the amount of damage or whatever, or negative effects that you take when you do this thing, or you take that and
immediately get a skill point.
You immediately get a perk, a perk that you can.
And the perk points are
allocate.
Like pretty significant boosts. Like they're not like small upgrades.
No.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something you have to consider, but some I wouldn't consider at all. Like the one you get, the crippled one, reduces your movement speed permanently by like 30%, and you can no longer dodge.
Okay, well, fuck.
Yeah. So I would never take that for
That's
a perk
not
point.
worth it.
But some of them are if a certain like species
Enemy type is
like
near
enemy
you,
type like
yeah.
attacks you a bunch, like you can trade the fact that like you're gonna have a harder time when you fight them in the future for a perk point, in which case that is like
worth it.
worth doing.
One of the ones I ended up taking was for the primals or whatever, those like gorilla looking creatures.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I just like avoid those.
So one of the ones I did was, I think it was agoraphobia.
Yeah.
Is that a fear of heights?
Is that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if when you're high up, your like
How
perception.
high is? I didn't take that one. How high?
I don't know. It's just one of those things.
I was too afraid. Like
the-
I was gonna stand on a crate and just be shitty.
So yeah, but the reason I did that was because I honestly don't feel like so far in what I've played
It's
in the
very
game,
vertical?
there's been too much verticality. So it's like I'm on the ground most of the time.
Yeah.
So why not take it? I mean, unless they consider like, oh, you're on a space station, you're really high up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that's yeah, I do like that system.
I mean,
Agoraphobia is a fear of open space.
Open spaces? Okay, I couldn't remember which one it was. I couldn't
so
remember.
you just walk outside and you start to suck.
Agrophobia.
Agrophobia. Agrophobia.
Agrocrag?
It's something.
Agoraphobia.
No, not that one.
We can probably start
Yeah.
reining in because we have other games
Yeah,
to talk about. But
yeah.
is there anything else we want to say in closing? I mean, we'll probably mention this
I'm
again
enjoying
in the
this
future.
game.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that Obsidian kind of found something that would most likely be a mainstream success
Yeah.
outside of, you know,
Established
like making
IPs.
sequels to established IPs. The thing is, they were purchased by Microsoft now, so
Yes, that's
they're
true.
kind of under
I
those
forgot.
reins.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's exciting for them,
But-
but then it's kind of like, well.
But it's cool. Like
Doesn't
they're,
even matter.
They're purchased by Microsoft, and the first thing that Microsoft's going to kind of like witness, like when they're paying super close
Yeah,
attention
sure,
to them as a studio, is hey, right before we bought them, they made this like this new IP that was really successful. And
Yeah.
don't know.
So what I want to just say, my closing notes on this one is the writing. I think is phenomenal. I do really feel like the plant the not this. Oh, so the other side of Terra 2.
Yeah.
Some of that's the one with the station that's like under attack.
the scientists,
Yeah. I don't know how far you are there, but there's some pretty interesting
I'm almost
stuff
done.
you kind of interact with, like with the outlaws in that building. I really liked, you know, when you come up with someone and you get this quest, and he's like, "Hey, go and do this," and you're going off to do that, and then you interact with someone else, and they're like, "Hey, do you honestly know what's going on? Because actually, this is what's happening," and you're like, "Oh, maybe I won't side with that original guy, or maybe fuck it, and I will." And
there's a lot more opportunity to like change your stance on
Yeah.
certain things in the midst of
And I do think the writing lends itself to that. I think it's been pretty good.
show.
That's all I got.
I have a good transition if y'all want to go
please.
into my game.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the things that are really great about Outer Worlds are stuff like dialogue and writing, because that's Obsidian's really great at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been playing a Western RPG that is also excelling at that, and excelling at it in such a unique way that it's kind of making Outer Worlds feel a little too familiar. And
I mean,
that's
Outer Worlds
Disco
is
Elysium.
Outer Worlds is nothing if not familiar.
Yeah. But this is sort of making it feel extra familiar to me because this game, Disco Elysium, is like kind of unlike anything I've ever played. Now, when you hear people talk about it, they'll probably say it's kind of Planescape Tormenting. And I know none of us here have really played that. I've never even finished that game. It is very text heavy. It's all about the story and the dialogue and the conversations and talking to people for half an hour. that sort of thing. Maybe not half an hour.
Planescape Torment.
Your mic's going.
Right?
Hold on.
Mechanically.
Oh no, you're there. You're there. Okay. It's like Planescape Torment mechanically. This game, no. So Disco Elysium is spiritually a lot like Planescape Torment because it is very. It's not just very dialogue driven, but it goes to some crazy places. The sort of depth of the dialogue system is maybe very Planescape Torment-y. Unlike Planescape Torment, though, this game has no like combat engine.
So you do everything through dialogue.
You do everything through dialogue. So you do have health, you do have morale, and when those zero out, you do get a game over, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do they zero out? They yell at you really loud?
You get butthurt.
Well, no, if you lose your health, you like die or you have a heart attack. But like the things that, and I get into like physical encounters with people where you might lose your health and die, right?
Yeah, but this is also framed too around being kind of like a murder mystery or something.
Yeah.
Or a detective type?
So you wake up and you wake up on that first day and it's sort of like a drunken bender. You're still drunk. You're stumbling around. You turn the light on. You're like fucking And I think if you don't turn the light off, you could even like lose health or have a heart attack or something. Everything in this world can kill you, theoretically. And you have amnesia. Like, you have such a fucked up, like, drunken bender, I guess. I don't know. You have amnesia. Or you don't really know why. Maybe it's a mixture of drugs.
It's like
But the thing is, you don't really know who you are or why you're there, why you're in this town. You find out eventually that, yeah, you are a detective investigating a murder. And you're not only trying to find out who you are, but you're trying to find out what's going on. There's a body hanging in the yard behind this motel that you're staying at. And that's the body of the person. That's the death you're trying to investigate. It's still hanging in this tree,
Is that,
and you find out it's been hanging there for 3 days. And apparently, you've been a really shitty drunk detective this whole time, and the whole fucking town hates you. And
they just leave the body up there, just hanging out.
Yeah, that's one of the things they're trying to find out. Like, why have you left the body up there? And I've probably played this game for maybe 8 to 10 hours, and I just finished my first day because time advances very slowly. In fact, time only advances when you're in conversation, which is pretty much the whole game. I mean, you explore a world, there is equipment, you do level up, there's skills, but you spend most of your time in conversation because everything sort of manifests in these conversations. The most unique thing about this game is your whole skill system are like the 24 various parts of like maybe your brain or psyche or something, right? So like in this, the physical instrument skill is probably talking to me right now about what I should do after I just hit this guy. Which, by the way, this is sort of a combat encounter because you could die because if you
hit that man.
If you fail like a dice roll, say your physical instrument stat is really low, and you fail a dice roll, he might just like fucking kill you.
Did I just see like a physical dice kind of show up on the screen to like indicate the dice roll? That's pretty cool.
So you do these dice rolls. There's constantly doing skill checks. You're constantly doing skill checks. Let me explain to you what's going on. You're not really gonna understand how fucking weird this shit is. All right, so you have various parts of your brain, like having conversations with you as you're having conversations with other people, maybe goading you. It kind of depends on what it is. You have like one of your stats is encyclopedia, and that's obviously the more brainy stuff. I didn't really spec up in intelligence in those various skills in that tree, so they're not really kind of chiming in as much. The archetype I guess I chose at the beginning, there was 3 choices, like intellectual, there was like a more of a physical person. The one I chose is sensitive. It was literally called sensitive, and it's more like the psi ones. And so like I'm really good. I'm really empathetic. So like when I'm having a conversation with a person, I'll constantly doing these empathy checks, and it'll like add all this extra flavor dialogue that's telling me like I really kind of get a good vibe of what that person was actually saying there, right? And that wouldn't be there at all, right? If I wasn't specced up in empathy. So like you have this partner with you who's actually from a different precinct. He's sort of helping you, I guess. I don't really know because there's a lot of mystery going on, and I'm only in the first day, even though the game progresses.
I saw a dialogue option that said, "No, fuck you."
Yeah. Okay. So the writing is fucking phenomenal. It's unlike I've ever seen in a game. But so like this empathy stat, like this constantly chiming in, like when I'm talking with my partner and stuff. it's telling me like he says one thing, but then I'm kind of reading it in a certain way, and it's adding all this depth to this character that I wouldn't have gotten if I wasn't spec'd up in empathy. And that's just one of 24 skills that are actual fucking characters that I'm having conversations with in my dialogue.
That sounds really cool. I think Krispy had a question.
No, I was just gonna. You were talking about the writing. I actually bought this game after you tweeted that screenshot
Oh shit!
of the like nodding. Just everybody nodding.
It's very.
Oh, I did see that. That was
So how much of it have you played?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay, so like if you look at its psyche, look at these things. Like so like. I want to explain this altercation so you kind of know how this game flows. There's like this really big dude, and he's blocking my way, and I'm trying to get past him, right? I'm a little bit of a physical fighter, so I did actually choose to attack him. It was a dice roll. I got lucky. But this was when I was recording footage. Before I was recording footage, I tried to fight this dude, and it went horribly, horribly wrong, right? I punched him. He caught my hand, and like he was saying, admit that you're fucking drunk. And I was like, fuck you. And I was losing life every time. I wasn't just picking like the pathetic dialogue option. Yeah, acquiescing. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking die if I don't like just say, okay, I'm a fucking asshole and just leave, right? And this guy's literally, the only way to get past him is to like his physical encounter or like adopt his like form of racism. Like he's like this kind of racist dude, and one of your options is like, all right, yeah, I see, you have a really good point. And like he'll let you buy, right? And I didn't want to do that, so I decided to fight him, and my physical stuff was like kind of okay, so I decided to do it. I got lucky when I was recording this footage, and I sort of knocked him out. But after I knocked him out, like sort of the physical instrument part of my brain, that's just what it's called, he sort of chimed in. He's like, dude, like going for like another hit or whatever, right? And you had options. Every fucking dialogue option is like crazy. It's like it's unpredictable and unexpected, the options you have. And after I hit him, it like choices appeared, right? One of them was like, oh, just hit him again. I'll leave him alone. Like, go for like a badass 360 spin kick, right? Like fucking Chuck Norris, right? And I chose that. It's like, yeah, you're a badass. You could do this. And I did it, and I landed, and it was awesome, right? And then all of a sudden, that put like a thought into my head. Like, maybe what I actually am, because remember, I have amnesia, is maybe I'm like a fucking superstar, like badass detective, right? Mm-hmm. And it literally, you have this whole other part of the menu system called thoughts. And through picking dialogue options a certain way, random thoughts will appear that you can like dedicate time to researching. And all of a sudden, after I did this spin kick, one appeared of like superstar cop, right? And as I'm researching it, which is just sort of me manifesting in my head, like, hey, maybe this is the way I am.
Maybe I'm a badass cop.
Like, once you research it all the way, you'll get a skill bonus, right? But until you finish researching, which maybe took like 6 hours of in-game time, I took like a negative hit to my logic stat, because and the writing was like, yeah, you're probably not actually a super cop. So like my logic went down, and then when I finally researched it all the way, I got like a bonus to like my drama stat or whatever, but still I'm like at -1 logic, because it's like, you're probably still not a superstar. But now all my flavor text, like that stuff's gonna pop up more, right? Where it's like I'm sort of creating this like life of my character. Before I started picking some of the spicier dialogue options, I was kind of playing it really straight. I was being really empathetic, and I was apologizing a lot. And some of the dialogue options, and maybe it's because I picked sensitive, were like, yeah, I'm kind of a fuck up. I don't even know why I'm a cop anymore. Like sometimes I think of just like fucking ending it, right? And I'm pretty sure if your morale drops a lot, like maybe you could even like kill yourself. I don't actually know, but I was just picking. I wasn't always choosing the pathetic answers, but I was picking like the safe answers. And then one part of my brain, I don't know which one it was just like, hey man, we're thinking maybe you're just a boring cop. And that also could have popped up as like a thought option of like boring, like kind of like apologetic cop. I think they called it like sorry cop or something, because I say sorry all the time. And that was a thought that manifested in my head that I could have decided to like focus on and eventually start to believe, right?
Yeah.
Also, one of them is like, you believe you're a communist, because like a lot of this murder mystery evolves around this like labor dispute. There's a strike going on, but like the union has a lot of sway in this town. Like a lot going on with this murder mystery, but you're kind of like this incompetent dude. At least that's the way I'm playing it. I have a very low intelligence stat, and sometimes the dialogue options are just like you're asking the meaning of like basic vocabulary.
Maybe ironic. You need to ask that, Brad.
Basic vocabulary, like you're talking to someone about a strike. You're like, "What's a strike?" And like, "Oh, fucking labor dispute." and one of the options could be like, "What's labor?" And I never pick those. Because that's like absurd. I don't know if those are only appearing because I have a low intelligence.
Could you just like select those options over and over again and like just like put yourself in a catatonic state of like I just don't know anything?
Well, I think
I'm super amnesia.
A certain thought would probably
function.
manifest that would sort of affect your playthrough. Now one of the ones in my tree, which is like my favorite skill, it's probably my highest leveled one, is called Inland Empire. And it's sort of like represents like your imagination or just weird shit, right? And that one's constantly popping up for me, probably because I have it leveled up so high. And then weird shit starts to happen. I would say it's sort of the equivalent of playing a Malkavian in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, right? Where my necktie occasionally like chimes in and like into my conversations. He's kind of an asshole. Which is necktie you didn't even have to pick up. It was like on a spinning fan, like in your room when you first woke up from your drunken bender, and you had to like kind of roll right to actually get it off the fucking fan. And I think you could even have a heart attack at the very beginning of the game if you do it wrong. But it chimes in with like really weird shit, and you started to get insight. Like I managed to have a conversation with that dead hanging corpse in a tree. And
hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes.
I just want you to stop talking about the game because I just want to go play it.
Oh, this game is it's all reading, but it is fucking remarkable.
Okay, first of all,
it's remarkable.
Couple things. One, you say it's all reading, and that mechanically speaking, you're absolutely right. It is very much all reading, but there is actually a really cool like visual style that goes along with it.
It's like impressionistic, like
and like walking around the world looks really cool. I'm gonna be honest. I told you, and I said this several times at the start of the show that like I know Disco Elysium is a game that I'm probably never gonna play. I just looked it up in the store because I'm giving it serious thought now.
Honestly, I think all of you should fucking play it. I think the only reason no one's talking about it right now is because Outer Worlds came out. It's way better than people maybe were expecting, and everyone's really missed Fallout, so everyone's sort of ignored this game. But I promise you, if you look in the right places, people are saying like, no, you need Outer Worlds is great. And I've been playing it. Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds
is also great. Play that, but don't sleep on Disco Elysium. It's truly.
Is this only on
It's
PC?
wild. It's fucking wild.
Is this only on PC?
This is only on PC.
This is very much like.
Hold on. Is it an Epic Game Store exclusive?
No, it's on Steam.
No,
but I will say
Steam.
the price tag is a little. The price tag is a little steep, but it sounds like
$40.
It's $40.
Brad, did you buy it, or are you playing Carlos's?
No, I bought it. Well, I made a deal with Carlos. He PayPal me like $15, and then I bought
this
it.
looks like the kind of thing that like this is giving.
I emailed the developer, and they were like, "We're out of codes." So I was like, "Fuck you."
I'm gonna be honest. Like this is the kind of
game
game.
Fucking fails.
Like seeing your enthusiasm talking about it and seeing us kind of like perk our ears up and get interested in it. Like it's giving me the similar vibes because I feel like I've gotten pretty good at this, right? Like this is giving me the same kind of vibes as like this will be our return of the Aubergine at the end of the year potentially.
Dude, after I chose like the I adopted sort of the superstar
And here he
cop
goes.
like thought. I went and stood up on that stage, and these little bubbles will appear, and if you click on them, they're just like little mini thoughts. And he said, "This feels right." When I stood up on the karaoke stage, I started a side quest. I was just talking to the manager of this bar, and it's like I want to do karaoke, right? And it created a side quest to like, all right, sing karaoke. That's an official side quest for you now. But now it pops up in conversations like I'm trying, like part of my quest is to like figure out a good song, like a good type of song. Is it going to be something sad? Is it going to be something exciting? And like it's occasionally with conversations with people, it's popping up like, hey man, like tell me more about that song. I kind of want to sing karaoke.
I'm gonna stop you there, Brad, because I'm gonna reiterate what Krispy said.
It's a lot. I'm sorry.
This like kind of makes me think of something that I was thinking of while we were talking about Outer Wilds, and that is like
Worlds or Wilds.
Worlds. God damn it. Outer Worlds, and that's like Oh my god, this is like too big of a thought. I don't know if I can say this.
Can you get it out?
Okay, so like I'm really enjoying Outer Worlds, but part of what's bumming me out about it is that like every other kind of like third person action game, because I'm sitting there thinking like Brad, you were tweeting about like, oh my god, every time I look at one of these buildings and I just think about like having to go in it and kill people and loot everything, like I get really fucking bummed out, and like I'm kind of feeling that too. And I think the reason why is because the way that like a lot of these RPGs are set up is that like like in a traditional RPG setting, like combat would be like a third of 3 pillars, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas in video games, it's like half or maybe like 51% of the game, you know, is combat. So like everything is funneling you towards kill the bad guys, take all the loot, because otherwise it's just content that you're not getting. It's just content that you're missing. There's no cost benefit analysis to not doing it, basically, right?
Gotcha.
And it feels like a lot of these action RPGs like lack a sort of like soft skills kind of like role play aspect to them.
Yes.
And I was like, man, but I was sitting there thinking like, well, I guess that makes sense though, because like how the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
Like you can't really make a video game like Dungeons and Dragons, you know? It there's just too much.
We can try.
You can try, but like this is kind of a very ambitious and like honestly like fucking dope attempt at like trying to do like what I was thinking is impossible. Like,
or at least what
like,
most games are missing when they're trying to go for that
like,
kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean it's it's doing that by saying like we're just gonna focus on this.
It's the same thing that Planescape Torment was famous for, except Planescape Torment was also famous for having a combat system that was awful, that probably should have never been there. They just sort of took that and said, okay,
just get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, or we can have it in there, but we can have it tied to like the dialogue system, and it's, I mean, like I can't tell you, it's a lot of reading. Only some of it's voice acted. Like usually when you first meet a character, or it's like a really big story scene. But I'm telling you, the writing is phenomenal. It's mostly dialogue. It's fun to read. Like, give this a shot, or like maybe watch some videos. Or I wish there was a demo.
Again, for people who are listening who aren't watching the footage or whatnot, and who are kind of, I could see like maybe people picturing like a text-based MUD or something. You know what I mean? Like this
no, it's a beautiful game.
You are moving a character in a 3D world. Yeah. It's kind of like isometric. You're talking to people. Like it kind of actually reminds me of like old like classic Fallout in terms of the way it like looks.
The animation looks really high
until
quality.
until you enter dialogue, which is the bulk of the mechanical aspect of the game. And like that is kind of not what I was picturing. Everything that I had thought about this game so far had been based off of still screenshots. Yeah. Seeing it in motion, kind of seeing how it all comes together.
Up close too. It's like, I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
All right, cool. We need to take a break.
Yeah.
When we come back, I'm gonna have a little chat with Chris Davis about Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because we both played through that. Brad, I want you to give us at least a little bit of impressions on Devotion, because
I will.
That game is
the tweet. I got it.
Yeah, and we have some news. We'll talk about The Last of Us 2 delay, and we'll answer some questions from patrons. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. We still have a few games to talk about. I want to start this segment off by having a conversation here with Christopher Davis. Welcome to the show, Chris Davis.
Hello.
So I took a break from playing Outer Worlds this week to play through the campaign for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. As did you, I assume, Chris Davis?
Yeah, I started that on Saturday and finished it Monday.
I started it on Saturday and finished it on Saturday.
So is this?
It is definitely a Call of Duty campaign. Short. Can confirm 5 hours.
Are you like punishing yourselves for some reason?
No, I mean I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be right up front with the fact that Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is a fantastic single-player first-person shooter campaign that I adore. And the series has tried desperately to like rekindle that magic over and over and over again, and I don't think it ever successfully has. Maybe it's come close a couple times.
Yeah, they've come a little close.
Until now.
No.
Until now.
No, okay, here first,
going dark.
Let me just say that regardless of what I'm about to say about this is a competent shooter, it's a competent campaign.
He's breaking out the C word.
Carlos likes it.
I think competent's a strong word in my opinion.
Carlos likes it. Why does Carlos like it?
Carlos likes
Carlos
things.
is a doof.
Carlos is the contrarian right here, right?
People like this game,
he
I think.
genuinely,
No.
he genuinely likes this, dude.
He told me there's a
Carlos
level like
never
Alien
stays up late,
Isolation.
and I was online at like 2 a.m. and he was playing.
Tell me about
this fucking
the
game.
Tell me about the Alien Isolation level.
Let me just tell you first of all, I haven't touched even a moment of multiplayer, and I'm not gonna touch Spec Ops. I love Spec Ops in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I've heard that's garbage in this, and I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah.
So this is Infinity War, but it's Infinity Ward, and it's kind of a reboot or a reimagining of the original Modern Warfare, which is still one of my favorite single player military shooters I've ever played. So obviously I wanted to try this, and I've liked the follow-up campaigns for Modern Warfare 2 and 3, even though they never quite captured the magic of the first one. This one seemed particularly interesting because they dropped the number and they were treating it kind of like a reboot.
It's very weird, but whatever.
I know it's
Let's not focus on that.
It is so.
I mean, that's been going on a lot with games.
But it is so strange in that it is a quote unquote reboot of Modern Warfare, but they use the same character to kind of as the linchpin of it to kind of
they use a ton of the same characters.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of references.
Is there an all gillied up?
I mean,
No. That's the thing about this game is that it's a reimagining of Call of Duty 4 without having pretty much any of the fucking content of Call of Duty 4.
Here's the thing: it is not a remake of Call of Duty 4. The story is in no way related to Call of Duty 4.
So this is like
no
The Force
relation.
Awakens or something,
Maybe. I mean,
where it's this is kind of a lot like.
it's
this
just
That
a
would be way generous.
it's just a new story with Captain Price.
Stop it. Sorry.
It's a new story with Captain Price. That's all I can tell you.
It's like the Child's Play reboot. Now Chucky's a robot.
Okay.
It's more like it wants to be. I don't know if we want to just go into spoilers straight away. But
No, straight away. We're not going. Let's not
Spoilers.
spoil anything.
Spoiler. The bad guy gets shot.
Because
You shoot bullets.
there are some people out there that actually care about that shit.
I don't think those people listen to this podcast.
Guys,
I don't
everybody.
think many people listen.
Wait, this is why you shouldn't talk about spoilers.
You got me there.
You're killing me, guys. You're fucking killing me. Let me just get this out.
Okay.
Because what blows my mind about this game is that they're treating it like a reboot, but it is so by the numbers that it is indistinguishable practically from any other Call of Duty campaign that came before it. There's the newest feature mechanic I could speak of that is different from anything that I played, and this may have even been in a previous Call of Duty that I didn't play, and I'm not familiar with it. But it has this mounting mechanic where you can when you come up to a
Monster Hunter.
when you come up to a door or wall, you can push down an R3 and you'll kind of tether yourself to that wall, and then you can kind of peer
Clutch
around.
Claw.
Yeah, that's kind of new. I think.
Yeah,
You get a clutch claw.
that mechanically speaking, that is the newest feature in this game. Everything else is super by the numbers.
weird. Well, tell me about the level with the little girl.
Okay, so that's one of my many points of contention with this game.
Oh.
Is that beyond just the fact that this story sucks.
Oh.
In my opinion.
I mean,
Just straight up
spicy.
okay,
It's that it's unnecessarily dark and gritty.
okay.
There's no reason for so much of this bullshit that happens. in
Okay,
this
first
game.
of all, every Call of Duty game especially Modern Warfare, is dark and gritty.
not like this.
I also
Not
heard-
like
Blow
this.
away a bunch of innocent people in an airport.
Yes,
One of them.
yes, that was was unnecessarily dark and gritty.
Yeah, that was fucking dark and gritty. But this is just for the sake of it being dark and gritty.
I heard it's also kind of egregiously inaccurate about historical things that happen in
Yes.
Iraq.
yeah,
That's Call of Duty.
No,
man.
it completely
No,
repurposes like an infamous war crime that we committed, but says it's
It
the
said
Russians.
It was the Russians that did
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I know.
But that's the
like a
thing.
bombing
Spicy.
of civilians.
It is. But let me just tell you this.
Oh no!
Let me just tell you this, and perhaps maybe my biggest problem with it, and this is maybe not the game's fault per se, but the timing of the release of this game is super unfortunate because it is so tone deaf just by circumstance of current events,
Call of
which it
Duty's
had
always been
which it
tone
obviously
deaf,
had
though.
no idea was going to happen, but the whole thing happening
Are you
in
referring to like Syria?
Yeah,
and the
yeah. Syria, us abandoning our allies in Syria. Yeah, and this whole game is about us coming to the rescue of our allies, basically.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like half the game, you're playing like this CIA guy who's working with an insurgency trying to shut down
freedom fighters
whatever.
fighters in Syria.
Do you know how people love Call of Duty, but this stuff doesn't bother them because they only play multiplayer?
Right.
I know.
Right.
But here's the thing.
Hey, I heard that 30 versus 30
Let me get into
mode's
the fucking
cool.
stupid ass dark shit about this game.
Okay, first of all, can you do it without spoiling? Because here's the
Please
thing.
don't spoil.
Even if it drives you crazy, and there's not a lot of people that are going to care, there are going to be some people who like. I would not touch this game if you spoiled any of the story, because I'd be like, why am I even going to play it now? Because I only play this game for the story.
Well,
and it's 5 hours. You can spoil a lot of it very quickly.
I'll go into some generalities, but there's one I have to specifically mention. Okay,
Do
so
you?
this game is.
I've tried so hard,
Is
guys.
there a gun to your head?
Spoiler warning, I tried so hard to divert him.
Well, just explain what the sequence is, but don't spoil the thing.
Is it the one with the child?
That's one of the sequences. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
what's
there's
wrong
this-
with that one?
There's a sequence where you're playing as like this 8-year-old girl,
Yeah.
and her
heard
entire
about it.
village has just been like
They're trying to show
genocided by fucking Russians with like chemical weapons.
the whole point of that scene is for. I'm sure they would argue is to show the effects of the use of chemical weapons and like the horrors of using chemical weapons in warfare.
That's only
Call
a
of Duty
small
has
part of it.
But they
Histor-
put you in the body of a small child and have you experience it from her point of view, and
No, it's what happens in the middle of that sequence that really bothers me about
the
this.
alien isolation scene
Yes, basically.
where you're basically trying to sneak around your house while avoiding this like
This
big Russian guy.
soldier, that's trying to break into your house and kidnap you.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that happens. These are real war atrocities.
Yes, but
But let me tell you something.
Call of Duty's always handled this poorly.
But if you want a really specific non-spoilery thing about this
he's
game
about
that
to spoil
really-
something. Spoiler warning, he's about to spoil something.
There's a mission later on in the game. So the game is really prides itself on these several sequences in which you're raiding houses as part of this.
They're trying to
SAS
they're
unit.
trying to create the whole like Zero Dark 30 like
sweep
they
and
are,
clear.
They are so proud of that.
I mean,
they are so happy.
Yeah,
to
they
talk
do it
about
twice essentially. In fact, there was a moment when I was trying to capture footage where I was like, I'm gonna go do one of those like sweep and clear levels, and or I was gonna do the sweep and clear level, and I was like, oh wait, there were 2 of these. Holy shit! But yeah, they're very proud of them.
So you do one, and the first house you come to, it's got a few terrorists inside. You shoot a couple of terrorists, and then there's a civilian out in the corner, and you hear somebody in the back. It's a woman. You go in that room, and she's
an spoil
insurgent.
something.
You have to kill her.
Okay,
No,
first of all,
listen. Okay,
Wait,
listen.
is it
Let
the
him
one?
spoil it, guys. Come on.
Hold
trying
on,
so
hold on.
hard.
Let him spoil
This
it.
might have been one that was like heavily
Work with me here.
heavily covered in like the run up to this game.
Yeah.
Is it the one where like you think she might kill you, so you have to? Do you take the shot or
you
not?
think
No,
your
it's
first
not
instinct,
that.
your first instinct is to spare her, but she picks up a gun and you have to kill her.
Yes, you have to kill her. The game will not progress unless you kill her, and there is no non-lethal way to take her out. And the thing is,
'Cause they don't give you
right next to
non-lethal
her
weapons.
is her little boy. And as soon as you shoot her, he jumps on the ground and starts crying and trying to do CPR for her.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
And the game forces you to fucking kill her.
I know. First of all, it's
That
fucked
is
up.
so fucking unnecessary.
It is fucked up, but I want to remind you, I know you haven't forgotten, but like this shouldn't come as a surprise. I am still. It has been like what 10 years. I am still shocked about the airport scene in Modern Warfare 2.
I want to talk about the weird detective game again.
No, I mean, look, dude.
Also, this game loves child death.
Okay, so like, look, this whole series since the beginning of the series has been trivializing this war shit. I mean, if it bothers you, like, it should have bothered you sooner. I mean, just don't. I mean, play the multiplayer.
I mean, it's always fucking
I mean,
bothering me.
Play that 30v30 mode.
I mean,
But the fact that the game that
that's
like
pretty cool.
forces you to do these things, like in No Russian in Modern Warfare 2, you didn't have to fucking shoot anybody.
Don't they kill you if
go
you don't
throughout
shoot?
the entire
No,
level
they
without
kill you
killing
either
a
way.
damn person. Okay, you don't have to fire a single round.
Yeah.
In this, the game is literally forcing you to commit fucking war crimes and kill civilians.
Mass
to progress
murder
the
in an
story.
airport's still
I
kind of
know.
worse than the sad kid.
They're making
maybe?
the player pull the trigger, and that's the problem I really have.
You're right.
really don't like.
It is.
You kill so many women in No Russian. Though.
Yeah. No, I mean I get what you're saying, Chris.
Well, I
Because it's
did.
like it's a moment of like they give you no agency whatsoever
Yeah.
to navigate
Yeah.
this.
But I
this
mean, that-
obviously like difficult.
What's the difference
situation.
between that and The Last of Us?
Okay, first, okay, whoa.
What?
Okay,
That's so
you have to
different.
pull the trigger, right?
that's gonna be
What?
You're that's gonna turn into a huge debate we don't have time for right now.
What?
I do want to say I
No,
agree.
but,
I agree with Chris Davis. I mean,
You
first of
killed
all,
an innocent.
First of all, I want to say this. I want to say, as far as like being what you would expect from a military shooter campaign, whatever, that's supposed to be super cinematic, this delivers in terms of it being a modern warfare game. The problem is, and I agree with Chris Davis, I think there are some scenes that are completely unnecessary where, like Krispy said, they don't give you any agency with the ability to make decisions. It is super on rails, and it forces you to do some pretty terrible things for the sake of progressing a story. If it happened in a movie, which we've seen it happen before, it wouldn't be as big of a deal because you're the one pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
That's a debate I don't really necessarily want to have here because we don't have time for that.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's-
real quick, let me get to my other points. I'll just blaze through them.
plural.
We were talking about Call of Duty 10 times longer than I thought.
With
we were
all
going
that
to be.
said, the shotgun feels great.
Well, first off, this game is gorgeous. This
It
game
felt so
is-
good to shoot that woman. It,
is-
was tragic, but it felt great.
But when
I
you do
really
it
wish
in
there were-
4K,
That's
when
the
you
fucking
do
problem.
it in 4K,
Is
Yeah,
that this
it's
game
like-
is amazing to look at.
Oh,
It
the
is.
particle
You play this
physics,
game in
oh,
4K.
God.
The blood looks
guys,
so good.
Guys, what the fuck?
You play
blood
this game.
splatter.
I'm serious. This game is amazing to look at. It is a incredible presentation.
The way the tears
I
from this
feel-
boy mixed with the blood.
Damn it! I was gonna say that.
You fuckers, give me a second here.
Sorry.
Okay, look, this game
This
it's
fucker.
incredible to look at. It feels like I'm playing a fucking next gen game. It is that gorgeous at times.
Well, I'll let Bob know.
I really felt like that.
Brad.
The facial expressions. It really seemed like that large Russian man was totally gonna rape me.
But that being said, I think the story really sucks.
on.
I think they're paying no tribute to the original game other than just like having names of characters and having like the name of the game be shared. There's nothing else. It is such a
I don't. First of all,
I think it's rude to the original fucking product.
I don't even know
What they put into this game.
I don't know why they dropped the number. Okay,
The original game's still there.
Well, so you're okay, Chris.
and got
Davis.
remastered.
If I'm just following your point here, you're saying that like that these egregious elements of the story is kind of tarnishing the legacy of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
I mean, to be fair though, I think a lot of games
no.
since then have done.
Those are two separate points.
what?
the-
That's
the-
what you
the-
just said.
To me, the dark elements of this game I hold separate to like how they actually produce this game.
Okay.
Like the way they present the story and how
Right,
they
right.
set up the characters, it pays such poor tribute to the original game.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the dark elements are just something I consider egregious on their own.
That's very like
Okay.
subjective, though. I will say, right? Like, what's the difference? I mean, they're going for something. They're very specifically going for something there, right? And whether they nail it or not, like, it's not. I mean,
that's
they
why-
were trying to accomplish something. I mean, you played Spec Ops: The Line, right?
yeah.
Sure.
So, like, Spec Ops: The
is an
Line, like, dealt
incredible
with
game.
with issues like that, right? Of like,
It's just how they handle it. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
and I've never played Spec Ops.
There
but-
is a certain like greasy squickiness to like every Call of Duty game, and I think it was most egregious for me of all the ones I played, like when I was playing World War II.
which I played. I talked
Or
about
Call
last
of
week.
Duty, yeah, Call of Duty World War II.
I
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
played that.
And it's like when I played that game, I played through the campaign, and the campaign like wants to be this really like heavy meditation on war and humanity and
Yeah.
suffering, and like the end of that game, they make you walk through a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Like, so they're really like hammering it home, and then as soon as you're done playing the campaign, you go over to
The multiplayer.
and it's like World War II carnival time, and it's like everyone's just like running around and opening loot boxes
Please tell
and
me-
emoting, and it's like maybe there is a point where like giant quadruple A video games that are just trying to be like super commercially successful and maintain like an extensive player base like aren't the venue to
For
be
having these
discussing
discussions. Yeah.
war crimes.
but it's all because of Call of Duty 4, which will put itself on the map by pushing the envelope with set PC shocking moments, and every Call of Duty since then has tried to have their fucking sequence. So this shit's not even surprising. It's not even surprising.
That was my final point about this game, is that there is no set PC fun moment in this game.
The alien isolation thing, the rapey dude.
All the levels suck.
I will say.
Why are we talking about this so much?
I'm not talking about action set pieces.
Why are we talking about this shitty game?
Shocking
No,
set
I mean
pieces.
this is a worthy conversation.
It is a worthy conversation.
I think this is definitely worth hashing out.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 had some memorable fucking levels in it. I think this is definitely a low point for the series in terms of levels.
You will never forget when you played All Gillied Up, or when you were in the AC-130 in the first Call of Duty 4.
I remember
those
All Gillied
levels. Those are memorable.
I remember
I will never forget.
You joke, but that is still one of my favorite levels, like most memorable
No,
levels.
I was thinking of when we played for the anniversary.
But there's nothing in this game that I want to go back and play.
Well,
yeah,
Not even for like the story or like the level design or anything. Like there's just nothing fun to do in this game.
It's pretty.
the multiplayer.
Sadly, I think it's pretty forgettable.
It is kind of weird that a franchise that was built like in the fervor of like pro-national, like hoorah army, we're gonna go save the world in the Middle East, like that franchise now exists in a world where like those sentiments have definitely turned and like sour, and they're trying to keep up, and they're just like
they can't.
They're just making it so much worse.
We need to move on from this. I will say this. I agree with you on the point of the levels being forgettable. It's unfortunate, but it's true. But I did like the character of Farah. She was cool. I wish you played as her more.
Yeah.
In this game, that would have been a nice change of pace. She was definitely one of the she's the highlight character of the game for sure for me. And I was like, oh, they're definitely going to let you play as this character at some point, and they do. And it's the last 5 minutes of the game, and it's over. I was like,
well, no, I mean the flashback levels.
Yeah, you're right, but still, it's pretty. It's
weird how Farah is the most liked character of the game when they put so much money into advertising Captain Price about this game.
Yeah, and you know what? I like Captain Price. Let's not have a conversation.
Do you steal a kiss with Farah at the end, then rewind time? So she does.
Oh no, the game doesn't give a shit about character development or
I was making a
like,
Prince of Persia
interactions
joke.
or
I actually,
writing.
I actually got that joke, Brad. All right, I think we've pretty well covered our opinions of this game. I do apologize.
It was creepy. That's very creepy. But he has the power to control time, so it didn't happen.
So, does morality even exist when you can control the flow of time?
That's a good question. Let's have that debate right now. Anyways, that was a fun, colorful conversation. Let's move on. Brad, can you give us like the tiniest incy-beatsy like
just
impressions?
the tip.
In fact, I barely even wanted to bring it up because I sort of changed my mind, but then the tweet is law. It was mentioned in the tweet, so I have to bring it up.
The tweet.
Just tell me.
Last night, I started playing Devotion, which is very, very brief history. Came out earlier this year. Very well received horror game, but a lot of people didn't play it.
Taiwanese horror. It was made in Taiwan. Is it Taiwan?
Yes, Taiwan. It was very briefly available to be purchased because there was a controversy where there was like an Easter egg and they were making fun of China's leader, which looks like Winnie the Pooh or something, and China found out and they were like, you know what, your game is gone from this planet, and you know what, so is the developer. So no one can play Devotion anymore. Literally the only way you can play this game is to pirate it, which I did.
You mean that's like the only way you can do anything in China?
No,
like
if you no.
I know in China it's a different
If
story.
you pirate the game in China, you can be arrested.
You don't have to pirate a game to be arrested in China.
Well, sure.
Thank God you didn't pirate it in China.
Thank God I didn't pirate it in China.
This is one of the few times where I'm going to condone us openly talking about pirating.
It's actually really sad because it's a really cool horror game. The previous game, Detention, was also a well-received sort of like indie horror hit. So maybe if you download this game, pirate it, and you enjoy it, maybe purchase their first game, which is also a really good horror game called Detention. Devotion, this is a first-person horror game. One of the reasons I wanted to wait to talk about it is because it's a very story-driven thing. It's kind of like me talking about Gone Home without finishing Gone Home. You kind of got to finish it. It's not super long. But I will say, in the time I spent playing it last night, I was very, very scared. Very scared because it all takes place in a small apartment in different time periods, and it's sort of following the life of this family throughout those different time periods. And a very certain part, like I guess a there's a lot of stuff going on historically in that time period, and it's kind of
That sounds exactly like the synopsis I've read for The Beast Inside, which I'm playing tomorrow.
interesting. But it seems very well done here. It's very, very scary, and so much so that I couldn't really play. I had to give the controller to Malia. I literally was too scared to even move the controller. There's one sequence in an apartment with mannequins, and I just can't. I fucking can't. Maybe one of the most like fucked up mannequin sequences I've seen in a horror game. It's good, but I couldn't play it. I had to give the controller to Malia. But the problem is, I was still like in front of the monitor, but she was controlling it. But now I had no control. I couldn't just stop, so I was scared. But then it would just start moving. It's so much scarier when someone else is controlling a horror game right in front of your face, because she can't really manipulate the sticks all that well. So she's like rounding corners, like hallways in this apartment, like really
corners.
close to the corner. You know what I mean? Instead of, when you're scared in a horror game, you're going around a corner, you want to give it a very wide berth, right? Because there's going to be something there.
It's corners that get you.
But she's like, I compared it to the scene in Mulholland Drive where they go behind the diner. She's like got her face right up to the corner, and she's just slowly panning over. And I'm like, no.
And you got a heart attack and die.
Yeah. I was so scared. But
Brad died last night.
Not only is it super scary, it seems like they're telling like a really I mean, like I really kind of care about what's going on in this story about this family. There's a lot of weird like religious stuff.
When you were describing to me why you were maybe hesitant to talk about it before finishing it, you did say it's kind of like trying to describe Gone Home before finishing it.
Yes,
and that's interesting, especially when you're considering it's a horror game.
Because it's not very long, and it's very story driven. So I kind of want to see what they're doing. I want to see where they're going with this, because right now it's just terror and that's interesting.
Yeah. It could all be building to a single moment kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's a really nice looking game, because there's like. I kind of see what they're doing, right? Because at one point, like, the daughter gets sick, but there's all these different time periods, and you actually kind of like flip flopping back in time a little bit, not like with like a fucking time device or anything, but like in some sort of like abstract horror way.
I like how Browna in chat's just catching up with. He says, "Seriously, what the fuck? It's not available to buy anymore."
It's like PT with a real story, is what it feels like.
And just like PT, it's no longer available to purchase.
Actually, yeah. Except I don't think China was responsible for killing PT. That was Konami.
We don't know that.
I guess you're right. We don't.
So
know.
or it could have been the Triad, right? Usually, you hear of the Yakuza associated with Konami, but maybe it was the Triad.
Do you happen to have the
like Yakuza money in Konami?
Yeah, Konami, Tecmo, yeah.
Could you maybe put that game on the executable on like a thumb drive or something?
Maybe, I don't know. Like
I would like to play this.
Install like 3 patches. And
I'm
you
going
gotta
to China next
drag
month.
the crack
And I'd like
over. It's maybe.
Does playing this game exclude you from being able to go to
I'm telling
China?
Xi Jinping on you.
If I can figure it out.
All right. Well, you're going to be streaming and finishing that game off on Thursday night.
Yeah,
Thursday
night. Maybe next week I'll actually have footage, and I'll kind of talk more about it all encompassingly. But
sweet.
Yeah,
that's exciting because I'll be talking about a horror game next week as well.
It surprised me, right?
Surprisingly good horror games.
I'm kind of down on horror games because there are all these like walking simulators that seem kind of lazy and stuff.
All right, let's do news.
Say no, I don't know what that means.
There's some news to talk about, but a lot of it we can probably move through fairly quickly because none of it's super detailed.
What is Chai saying?
What?
Chai screaming at me.
Oh, I think he's saying you can't go to China now.
Don't pirate this game. I purchased it when it was still available at the beginning of the year. I love China.
China's great.
Yeah,
also Blizzard's my favorite developer. I love the NBA.
Yep.
And I hate Winnie the Pooh.
Fucking Winnie.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
When is our podcast going to get bought out by Tencent?
Yeah.
They own everything.
Should I censor the name Devotion in the description for this podcast?
Do it.
Also, Devotion sucks. And that developer,
Nick,
Red Candle Games, they're traitors.
Nick, when you release this podcast, just release the Chinese national anthem. That's all it is. That's all the episodes.
We're never going to go see
That's going to happen automatically. We're going to have no
anything.
control over it. Chinese hackers will pull down our MP3 and upload the Chinese national
What if I
anthem.
played that at the beginning of the podcast? Instead of our usual theme music. I'm sorry.
I think the title of the show should be "Don't Listen to This, China."
All right, let's move on. Let's hit some news topics real quick. I'm gonna rattle these bitches off. The Last of Us 2 was delayed.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
I'm fine.
It
with it
sucks, but I mean, whatever. I'm sure the game will be great.
The new release date is May 29th. The only thing I thought was really strange about this was that they delayed it like 2 weeks after they announced the official release date. How strange is that?
My fear is
Had nothing to do with all that backlash.
Yeah, that's my fear. Is all the backlash about like the multiplayer and stuff, and I really
You don't think they're
not,
backpedaling on that, do
I
you?
really hope that's not why.
I think they're punishing people. I think they're being like, "Oh, fuck you! 2 more weeks."
Wait, it's not
or
2 more
2 more
weeks.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
right.
3
it's
months.
Like 3 more months.
3 more months. Every
Yeah.
time you guys bitch about multiplayer,
I'm
we're
fine
adding
with
another
it.
3 months.
But
I'm
do
fine
you,
with
do you think this is multiplayer related?
I hope it's not. If it is, whatever. I'm sure now the multiplayer will probably release with the game. But I really hope that's not the reason.
I mean,
If it exists.
I don't think they're gonna like suddenly roll the multiplayer
they
into
all
the
but
package.
said the multiplayer is going to exist.
Maybe they were spinning it off like they did with the boat combat in that Ubisoft game.
We've talked about the possibility.
Like maybe
Skull and Bones?
they were
That's
going to
Skull
make
and
like a
Bones.
different IP
Yeah.
I
all
mean,
about factions.
What's up, Nick?
We've talked about the possibility of them releasing Factions 2
As
as
like a
a standalone
standalone.
free to play game. Like, what if they already knew that was coming shortly after launch? So they're like, let's just delay the game and release them at the same time, even though they're still 2 separate products.
We'll see.
One's free. You know what I mean? Like that might be a good way to satiate the
That'll
crazy
please
toxic
the
people.
gamers.
The crazy
or
toxic
it's
people.
related to the PS5.
I don't think so.
think it
We've
is.
seen this shit happen though with games like very late in a life game.
PS5 won't be out in May.
Yeah.
I know, but
it'll be
this,
out
this
that-
shit happened with Twilight Princess, and then all of a sudden,
Brett, I bet you $1 billion this game's going to come out on the PS5. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
no. But sometimes
I think he's saying it's a slippery slope. They're going to keep delaying it until it suddenly.
Well,
I bet you $1 billion that's not going to happen.
Man, does Nolan suddenly have $1 billion to throw
let's
around?
see this
No, I
billions.
just know that's not what's going to happen. They designed the game for the PS4. Why are they going to be like, oh, well, let's just real quick
Next
do
news
it?
topic.
I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, let's move on.
Wait, when's E3? Serious question.
June.
What does
Is it
that
though?
have
You
to
know
do?
the-
What does that have to do with this game? Sony doesn't go to E3 anymore.
This was supposed to be a very short.
This is a PS4
news
exclusive. Yeah, let's move on.
Topic. Hey, Krispy.
Oh,
So this is related to BlizzCon, but apparently Overwatch 2 is rumored to be.
they leaked it.
They leaked.
They
it.
like fully leaked it. Like there was BlizzCon material that they were putting out to vendors and like non-employees that had like a lot of information about Overwatch 2 on it. So
Yeah.
it's like all but confirmed at this
Gotcha.
point.
How much do you think they're doing this intentionally because they're trying to once again combat the recent backlash they've had or the negative talk they've been having? Not to mention the disaster that was last year's BlizzCon.
So there was a leak that is really of questionable quality. It was posted on like 4chan, I think. And it was supposedly a dev working at Blizzard who was like leaking this stuff. And some of the stuff that they're saying, I think, is getting kind of like mixed in with what is known. A lot of the theme, like a lot of what I've been reading, like keeps coming back to this idea of like Overwatch 2 is supposed to be. It's supposed to. It's existing for a couple of reasons. One of them is to integrate like the event modes that they do. Like I don't know if you've noticed, but like the last couple of years they've done like this flashback event mode where they added in like a PvE mode where it was like 4 players versus like hordes of stuff, you know? So supposedly they're trying to like shove that into the game as like a full-time thing.
Yeah.
They're also trying to reinvigorate Overwatch as an esport because
Does it need reinvigorating?
yeah, I guess I don't know. The word is that like things at Blizzard and Activision probably aren't good at all. Everything across the
mess.
board is like so like this leak was like pretty myopic about the whole thing, but they were saying like StarCraft 2 is completely dead. World of Warcraft is doing really poorly because this is the first time they've dropped under 1 million subscribers, while Final Fantasy 14 just surpassed 1 million subscribers. So they're like number one competitor.
they're losing
is lapping
ground.
them.
Wait, so they're officially behind Final Fantasy right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, was
Supposedly.
Yoko Taro jumping on with that Nier and that Nier and Final Fantasy
True.
stuff?
The current World of Warcraft expansion that's out isn't performing as well as they wanted to. The esports fervor for Overwatch is kind of dying a little bit, but they're like super focused, and Hearthstone's also like kind of flagging a bit too. And Hearthstone's biggest market is China, supposedly. But yeah, like apparently, like
That's not surprising.
the Activision leadership is like really super serious about chasing after esports.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really want the casual crowd that much. They're trying to make everything into an esport, and this is somehow supposed to facilitate that.
Interesting.
And it's also kind of like just to generate buzz and revenue all together, you know? Because if they come out at BlizzCon this weekend and say like, hey, Overwatch 2, but like it's a new game with mostly the same characters in the same engine, you know, like it's kind of just them trying to cash in a little bit.
What if?
so this is going to seem
But
dramatic.
we don't
Trying
know.
to
Like,
What if they're trying to re-release Overwatch without May?
oh my God, can you imagine if they put out Overwatch 2 and everybody's back
Except
Wait,
May?
She's a
I'm missing-
controversial.
Yeah, the internet like is turning May into an icon of the Hong Kong protest
pro Hong Kong.
in retaliation for
fuck.
Blizzard
Yeah.
banning Chug whatever that guy's name
Yeah.
was. So they were like, "Oh yeah, fuck you. We're gonna get Overwatch banned in China by making May like a
The
symbol
symbol,
of
yeah.
the resistance." And
That's hilarious.
yeah, so like, what if they put out Overwatch 2 and May's not in it?
Well,
Like, I don't think that's
let's
gonna
pick
happen.
another character.
And honestly, I think a lot of what I've been saying, like from that specific like 4chan leak, is like kind of myopic and probably not super true. I think what is kind of more likely is that Kotaku put out an article today about this, where like for over a year Blizzard's been planning for this BlizzCon, because this was the one where they were going to make all their big announcements.
Diablo
So
4.
we're going to hear Diablo 4, we're going to hear Overwatch 2.
That one's been talking.
Supposedly
talked about.
also a remaster of Diablo 2.
Yeah, the Diablo 2 remasters supposedly, and maybe even like the Warcraft 3 might make the remaster might make an appearance.
Yeah.
But like this was one that they've been building up for a long time. Like they want this BlizzCon to be like
Their
the
E3.
one. Like this is going to be the one where they drop a whole kind of shit. But and all they had to do was like get through the last year without like fucking up, and they've really been stepping in it the last
But you
few
know,
months. But
come on, all
Hey,
these. They all.
is that so? This is BlizzCon this weekend.
yes.
All right, stay tuned. Next week we'll have a.
So
we'll have a lot
everyone's
to talk
acting like,
about.
what's gonna happen? No one's gonna care about this stuff. Come on, all these nerds. We all. You know, I'm not gonna say it.
I mean like.
They lack the courage of their convictions. Come
well,
on.
see, like some of the things that like kind of make that leak I was talking about seem really kind of not true is that one of the things they were saying is that Diablo 4 is going to be a first-person shooter game, and that it's going to be a Destiny like, and that the story's all
Wait,
gonna,
that
the-
exists.
That
It's called what is that?
War.
No, what's that game called? Fucking that the Diablo people broke away and made the first person
Torchlight.
No,
no.
Somebody in chat. Somebody in
What's
chat.
talking
it
about?
called? It's like 10. No, it's like 15 years old.
Oh, what?
I don't know.
What's that
But
game?
but
Not
no
15.
no. But that's like the other like new like the story hook for the game is gonna be that all the
Hellgate
characters Hellgate London, yeah, that game crashed. Is like the new story hook is gonna be that like all the characters have like demonic powers now, so like all your powers are gonna be demon based, and there's only gonna be 3 characters at launch or 3 classes at launch, and they're gonna add more later. And that like the big reveal, which I'm only saying this because I think it's absolute bullshit, and there's no way this is gonna be the thing. But the big reveal of Diablo 4 is gonna be that Diablo was a good guy the whole time, and all he was doing was trying to find the most powerful Nephilim to face a new threat called the Void, which is coming to Tristram.
It's kinda
Okay.
like,
Is that? I feel like Brad should be reacting to that.
which
Oh,
I don't know how I feel about that. That seems weird.
But you know, I
Hey, I'll be honest.
I care more about
There's
the
no
Diablo
way
2
that's
remaster.
true. There's like yeah, the whole thing was like
I've never cared about
Diablo's gonna be an
Diablo lore.
angel now, and he's gonna be called
Liriel?
Diabale Primus or something. Like
Hey, you
it's
know
fucking
what?
dumb.
It sounds dumb, but like if they do something crazy like that, that is how you shake up and like surprise people. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of. I mean,
so if they announce Diablo 4 this weekend and they're like, it's a first-person action-adventure game, then...
But they were almost
sorry, I spoiled everything.
I don't think it is, right? They were almost going to announce Diablo 4 last BlizzCon, right? But they...
It's been documented that there was a version of Diablo 4 they were working on at one point, or
was
Diablo
banned.
3, that was a third-person
the
like action game.
World of Diablo.
Yeah, no, it was like Dark Souls Diablo.
Ooh.
Like when Dark Souls got really big, they were like trying to make a Dark Souls.
I heard they were making a
Diablo.
StarCraft game that was kind of like
they just canceled a
action
first-person shooter. Oh, fuck you, Brad. Fuck you, Brad.
did he just make a StarCraft Ghost?
Yes.
Reference? All right, let's move on. Next news topic. Again, these are going to be. All right, Brad. I know you like Tekken 7, but come on.
But what?
Give us the rundown.
No, you make me want to stretch it out, Nick.
No, come on, man.
Okay, so I want to bring this up because it's super interesting. Namco announced as part of their Season 3 update for Tekken 7 that they're going to do like this whole host of like updates for like basically like the practice mode and the combo mode and all that stuff. Very specifically, they're going to put frame data in the game, which has never been in Tekken before. It's not in most fighting games, and very specifically, it's crazy in Tekken because it's known for having hundreds of moves. Like, literally, a character can have, like, 100 moves. So having the frame data for each one of those is a big deal. People who care about Tekken care about this stuff, but they kind of went a step further. The more interesting thing, I think, is, like, the punish mode, right? Which teaches you how... After every single move, there's like a mode that'll teach you like this is the move you should be doing to punish it. And they even have a new replay mode that'll play back your match and it'll stop and it'll show you like when you blocked this move, you could have done this move back to them to
so it like trains you as your
it trains you to like I've never seen a mode like this in a fighting game. It's like super exciting. The game's telling you if you had done this, you would have done like guaranteed damage to them, which is really good because I think getting really good at a fighting game, you have to learn punishes, and to even an extent, you have to learn frame data, right? The controversial part is they're actually charging for the frame data, literally numbers in the game that are telling you like, oh, you know, this is how slow this move is, this is the recovery and everything. They're actually charging like for it, and some people are really pissed off, but they're ignoring the fact that like. This is sort of like a landmark stuff in like a fighting game, and it's Tekken players have been wanting it like since the beginning of time.
And they're putting it behind
and they're putting it behind a paywall. But you know, honestly, I agree with Eris. And if you follow Tekken, you know who Eris is, who says like it doesn't matter. This is like literally maybe the most important thing to ever happen to Tekken, and people are complaining about $4. I kind of agree with him. If you don't care about frame data, don't worry, because the replay mode and the punish mode, that's still coming for free. You can still get that. You don't have to pay for the frame data. People who care about it will pay for it. It's not an issue, but I think it's very exciting. There's other stuff like they're added all these, you know, a combo mode where, you know, you can now learn way more combos for each launcher based on like difficulty levels. It's like a really cool update. I just want to bring it up.
Cool.
And fuck the people who are complaining about the $4. Fuck you.
All right, you heard it here first. That's Brad's Fuck You of the Week.
Also, it's a sign that we're probably going to see more seasons of Tekken 7 because this is like a systems update. You know what I mean? It's not like new characters. So we're probably going to get a season 4.
Cool. All right, what else do we have?
That's going to be in my 4-player minute.
All right, we can't possibly talk about this one for very long, but Death Stranding is officially confirmed for PC in 2020.
Cool.
And Conan O'Brien's in it.
This is somewhat interesting, right? Because Death Stranding was touted as like a pretty big PlayStation first-party exclusive, right?
Well, now it's a timed exclusive.
Do you want us to get mad about this?
No.
I'm not going to get mad about it.
All right, moving on.
How dare
Is the Conan O'Brien thing real?
Yes, it's
Yes,
real.
it is.
Because and the
it's
otter
real.
hat.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real.
Because
there's even a
That's the world we live in, Nicholas.
Because the screenshots I saw made it look like he was...
You didn't watch the video?
No.
Nick.
I don't...
Nick.
I don't...
Nick.
Go fuck yourself.
You should watch the video.
The
He gives you an otter hat.
The only reason I didn't... The thing is, the screenshot
just
made it
feeling
look
like an
like he
otter.
was just filling the same
Nick.
role that... God damn it. You're killing me, man. It made it look like he's just...
Yeah.
They replaced
The Jeff Keighley?
Jeff Keighley's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so I figured that wasn't
He's
really
a character
happening.
like Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're all
Jeff
holograms.
Keighley's actually in it.
So-
Conan O'Brien's actually in it.
I know, but like what...
The
what
game apparently sucks.
What if there's like tons of like characters like that are just random celebrities throughout the world?
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing.
That's-
Everybody in the game is a random celebrity.
Yeah.
Anyone who stopped by their studio got to be in the game.
If you
just happened to be walking by, they're like, "Hey, you want to be in the game?"
Did you think Kojima's obsession with Hollywood was just a fleeting thing for Metal Gear Solid 5?
No.
Did you think there wouldn't be consequences?
Yeah. I would not be surprised
We're somehow
if
stretching
Jack
this out.
Bauer's actually in the fucking... Kiefer Sutherland's actually in the fucking game.
Next news topic.
I would not be surprised.
Is there any more? Oh God, let's not.
yeah.
All right, Bethesda was hit with some
This was
backlash.
fucking stupid.
Oh my god, the meme.
Not just Backlash. It's kind of interesting. So they announced like a paid monthly thing,
Fallout
right?
first.
For Fallout first for people who play Fallout 76, which is hilarious because it's like, why would you charge for this pile of trash? But like, only the people who are like really dedicated and apparently have a lot of disposable.
Apparently, there are people who do this.
Would actually pay $9.99 a month. I think that's what it is. or
Oh my
something.
God.
It's $9.99 a month or $100 a year.
Which is so much money for this bad game, but it's causing like straight up like class warfare in the game.
my God.
So people are like targeting the assholes who are actually spending this money.
Your name has an icon that tells everyone that you're a
like,
first
get-
player.
get
So
the
all
1% get 'em.
all the poor people are like targeting the rich people, and the rich people are going online and being like, "We need to build gated communities to keep the fucking trash out." And remember, this is Fallout 76, so you can like get launch codes for a fucking nuke. So like the poor people could just nuke all the rich people in their gated community.
They literally announced this shit. They literally announced this shit the day Outer Worlds came out.
Yep.
I think that tirade that Krispy just went on is all that needs to be said about
Nuke
this.
the rich.
Let's move on.
Well, hold on. The whole point of this
Oh my God.
is if you pay for it, you get your own server now.
There are so many good names for this episode.
So
I can't
the
even keep
poor
track.
the poor people don't even get to play with the rich people.
Oh
anymore.
wait, really?
Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
private
that was
servers.
ever since the day this game launched. The one thing people wanted was to have private servers, and now you can pay for those private servers.
Okay, but like you're not. You're never like in public servers.
You can be. You can still go in a public server, but at any point in time, you can invite
Are you
other
telling
people.
me the internet lied to me?
Yeah.
No.
At any point in time, you are allowed to go into your own custom
Come on, Bethesda, you
private server, and
fucking
you can
cowards.
invite people into
Yeah,
it.
dude.
Let's
They-
get some classism in this
No,
game.
that happens. They invite the poors into their server, and then they do the purge.
Yeah, and then they purge them.
What's up, Chris Davis?
But that's the thing though. That's broken right now.
Oh,
So
really?
Oh, so
players
they have to
that
be
are
in
first players that have private servers. They're going into their servers and they're finding shit looted everywhere. They're finding NFCs everywhere.
It just keeps getting better and better.
So good. Just works.
You know what? The game may be a disaster, but like the stories that have followed it over the years
That's what I'm
since it
saying.
launched.
I want some like Eve Online level stories of like guillotining the rich in the streets.
Okay, so according to Prince, currently your private server is accessible by anyone on your friends list, and anyone who can see you playing the game can access that server uninvited.
What?
Jesus Christ. How do you fuck it up so
Wait,
bad?
guys, what if I called this episode Call of Duty Class Warfare?
All right, let's move on.
All right,
from
I
this
think that's
shit
it for
show.
news this week, guys. Oh my
But I will
God.
agree with Krispy. The fucking memes that came out of, like Brad said, that the Fallout First. First of all, the fact that they did not buy the domain Fallout First is kind of silly, because that guy bought the domain and like kind of went through the entire thing of this is all the shit they're making you pay for, and it's fucking stupid. But the fact that it launched the same day as Outer Worlds, and just all the fucking memes about how shitty Fallout is and how great Outer Worlds is fucking hilarious.
Wow, that's fantastic. All right. All right, let's jump into community. Are you about ready to pull up
Yeah,
questions?
I already have it up.
Before you want me to read off the new
No,
patrons?
it's
or
too
you-
late.
All right.
We only have one new patron.
All right, go for it. What's that patron's name?
That one new patron's name is Breaking Brad.
Breaking Brad. That's pretty good.
Thanks,
Thank you,
bud.
Thank you very much for supporting us, Breaking Bad. We are as a quick update, we are at 153 patrons, which is appreciated. We're working our way towards 175. If you support us at any tier, whether it's $1, $3, $10, it doesn't matter. You are helping us reach that goal of 175, which we will do a 4-player. What do we say it was going to be called?
Fast Pass.
4-player.
Foreplay.
Flashback.
4-player flashback themed month. I don't fucking know. We'll figure out the
Fast
name.
Pass. The poors don't get to
4Player
don't get to watch our streams that month.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Oh my
You
god!
have to pay to get into the stream. Otherwise, you literally have to sit there and wait 45 minutes before it will load.
The chatters have to rise up and seize the means of streaming.
Everyone in chat attack the people with patron
The patron icons.
icons.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
god.
like everybody now.
So
All right,
anyways,
let's move on.
We're so bougie.
we appreciate if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/4player. You can help us reach that goal faster.
All right, let's get to some questions from our patrons.
Let's do it.
First question this week from one Mr. Boy.
Oh yeah.
If a company made a horror game based on your worst fears, what would that game be like?
Fatal
Put it
Frame.
another way, what monsters, enemies, mechanics, or combination of the three would ensure you never even let the game box into your house?
I know I'm gonna regret saying this.
Fatal Frame.
I know I'm gonna regret saying this for reasons that are gonna be obvious in a moment. But enemies that are full of holes,
Oh.
clusters of holes.
Aren't they making a series based
So,
on
like, are you afraid of sponges?
What are they
I
called?
have trypophobia, dude. Seriously. Certain sponges that if they're very well pronounced holes.
Is that
yeah,
why you're not
they
going to
creep
get
me
that new iPhone? Everyone's talking about that.
Oh,
new,
with the camera?
the cluster of cameras,
Yeah.
lenses.
Shut up,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. The cluster of camera lenses is freaking
It's
people out.
freaking people out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
boo.
Dude.
Weird look.
Mine would
Junji
probably...
Ito, they're making like an animated series.
Yeah, on Adult Swim of
Yeah.
this shit.
Like if the clusters of holes freaks you out, you probably like his horror stuff.
Stuff.
no, I've seen that. What was it? I was listening to Rebel FM and they were talking about Subnautica Below Zero, and they said,
Oh, can you hear that?
yeah,
Can you not?
I don't know. I can hear it, but it's on my head.
they were talking about Subnautica Below Zero, and they said that there's some things in there that have been triggering trypophobia in them. So
Nice.
Yeah,
like
there's
a sea
that
sponge?
there's that sea thing that on the sleeps on the floor, not sleeps.
Sea holes?
Lives on the ocean floor that has a lot of holes in
We're
it. right?
losing,
slugs.
we're losing the thread.
Yeah.
oh my god, but yeah, that would be it for me. I'd throw in the towel.
My horror would be like a bunch of snakes who are like verbally abusive and hate me.
Verbally abusive.
Yeah. I swear to God, my worst dreams, like when I have stress dreams, like when I have bad, like I had one the other night. It was fucking horrible. I dreamed that like I was hanging out with an ex of mine who was about to get married, and then like her dad and like her entire family showed up and were just like spent the whole dream just like telling me what a piece of shit I am. And
Were
just,
they
like,
snakes?
No, but if they were snakes, it would have been the fucking worst.
They're like, you suck.
Yeah, just like making fun of me and like yelling at me and
Your
telling
jokes
me
are
how fucking terrible I
shit.
am, and like, yeah, like my worst dreams are ones where like everybody hates me.
Well, we all love you here.
I can imagine a snake saying, booting up Destiny again, are you, Krispy?"
You fucking asshole.
Oh, you seen this frog, right?
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, the frog with the holes in its back?
God.
Yeah.
Damn it, Brad.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see.
Oh my god.
Oh, stick your finger in it. You could stick all your
Is
fingers
there
in it.
pus coming out of the hole?
No, it's like the frog.
I'm not talking about
when
it.
it lays its eggs, it puts the eggs in the holes. So like the tadpoles like start off in those
Brad.
like, little holes, and
Brad.
then they come out of the holes.
You know how sometimes I pull something up on my phone, you're like, I don't want to see that, and I don't show it to you?
Well,
That is
I
no
look
longer
away.
on. That is no longer happening. It's no longer on the table. You are.
See, Fatal Frame knows what's up.
Oh my god.
All right, let's move on. Next question this week from Breaking Brad, one of our newest patrons.
Oh, thank you, Breaking Bread.
Hello there, men of 4Player. My name is
Mighty presumptuous.
And,
my name's-
and ladies.
Sim, and I thought your name was Brad.
no.
And I'm from Northamptonshire, England.
Oh.
I've just recently subscribed to your wonderful podcast. You guys have been penetrating my ears for years.
Yeah.
All the way back to the Justin TV
And you
days.
just subscribed?
He's been busy.
We've been penetrating your ears for years?
No. You know, like things just started going well for him. This represents a turning point in his life that now he can subscribe to his favorite podcast.
His
you know what?
favorite
Good,
free podcast.
good for you, Sim.
My
for you.
question to you. I've recently started buying and selling retro games from auctions. And a short while ago came across a sealed copy of Probotector?
Probotector.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Probotector 2?
I think that's like
for the NES.
Contra.
An explosion of semen occurred after I seen how much it sells for.
Wait, back up. Did you say semen?
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, what's the best bargain game or console that you've managed to pick up? You guys are great. Keep up the good work.
I hate to break it to you. I think Pro Protector 1 and 2 are on the Contra Anniversary Collection.
Well, I think he meant the fact buying an NES cart for it.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
find one of those.
True.
I wish I had a better answer for you, but I actually don't do a lot of bargain shopping for games.
I used to do it a lot.
Nick
Brad used
always
it all the
plays.
time.
I used to do it a lot.
Yeah.
One GameStop I went into, it was like, not only did I get like a Guitar Man like off the shelf, the PS2 game. This was back when it was worth like a ton. It probably still is. But then I was like looking through like the old PS1 games, and I found like inside a Madden case was a Intelligent Cube on a disc, which back then that was actually worth quite a bit. A lot more than an old Madden game. So I took it up there. They still gave it to me for the price of the old Madden game. So it was like 50 cents. So I was like, I got Guitar Man on PS2 and Intelligent Cube for 50 cents.
Wait, you went and picked it up off the shelf and it had the disc in it?
It was like really old PS1 games, like in like a bin.
Gotcha.
This was old GameStop. This might have
yeah.
even been Funkoland or
So
some
when
shit.
I will say this, I don't do a lot of like bargain shopping, but when I worked at GameStop, I would use my position at GameStop to like, and everybody does this who works
Strong
at GameStop.
arm people.
They see things coming in that may be rare or whatever, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to put that on the shelf for myself later. I didn't get any good deals because GameStop pricing sucks, but I got a lot of like rare shit.
That's not true. Like with something like truly rare, GameStop pricing could be a lot lower than what they're going rate on eBay is.
I remember finding a copy
What
of
you
Fatal
do-
Frame. Luckily, I already had the game, and I got it when it first came out, and it was normal price. But I found it came across the shelf. It didn't happen very often, and we sold it for like $70.
No,
yeah, it
Nick,
was before the reprints.
what you do, you don't take the game and trade and then like buy it.
Yeah, you meet
What
them
you do-
outside.
yeah, which is
You
what I did.
clock out. You take off your badge.
I was a manager.
I got
at the
a
time.
I got a copy of like a European copy of Dark Souls that way, where like he brought it in and was like, "Oh, I want to trade this in," and I'm like, "Well, we can't take it because it's PEGI, it's not ESRB." And I was like, "But don't worry, they would only give you like $5 for it anyway." And he's like, "Okay," and he left. So I clocked out and I ran outside and I was like, "Hey man, I'll give you $7 out of my pocket for it." And he was like, "Fine, whatever."
I was in a managerial position at the time, and
So was I.
And my manager, but my
If you clock out, what does it matter?
but my manager,
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
No,
You can't just go buy things in parking lots anymore.
you know what? You're right. I made the wrong.
You know what?
decision.
A lot of employees did that, and that's fine, except some of those same employees would give other customers a hard time if they were doing that with someone.
That's
trading
true.
stuff
That's
in.
true.
Well, that's a shitty thing. Yeah, you can't
Not
do
me.
that. So I will say that's actually how I got both my top loader NES and my Dreamcast was when I worked at Game Crazy. And both of those, someone came in and wanted to trade it in. And I was like, hey, look, the system will only let me give you $10. I will give you $20 if you want to meet me outside in half an hour,
I'll
maybe.
give
If you want to
$11.
if you want to meet me out back,
$11.
I don't understand GameStop employees like that, because that happened to me all the time, where like someone would be doing a trade and somebody else would be in there and be like, well, I'll give you $6 instead of it. Because if they do that, then I don't have to do any fucking work. I don't fucking care if we buy anything. Like,
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, that's a pretty good deal. You should take it. I can only give you $5.
Do it, bud. Get on it. All right, let's move on. Thorax. Hey, guys. Just picked up a used PS2 at Goodwill. Any good games / hidden gems you'd
Okay.
recommend?
Oh
I
God.
remember Brad playing Raw Danger,
PS2 wasn't
where
good.
he took a
There's no good
chief's
games.
hat, causing him to die. A chef's hat. Sorry, chief. Oh, I remember that Raw Danger.
I grabbed the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raw Danger and the previous one, Disaster.
There's not many
Report.
good
Those are-
PS2 games.
There's not a lot of really
The
good.
PS2 has the best library of any game system
I
ever.
know, but it's hard to find one that hasn't already been reproduced somewhere else in a better version.
No,
you know
no,
what I mean?
no one can stop Mr. Domino.
true.
Oh,
That's
there you
PS1,
go.
but
That's-
it'll work on PS2.
Damn it!
The PS2 will play it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was a solid.
Yeah,
attempt, Krispy.
look up some old PS1 games because your PS2 will
Chris
play
Davis
that.
says we love Katamari.
We love Katamari.
That's a good one.
I like Dark Cloud
Wait, did
2
the
a lot.
second was
Dark Cloud 2.
Katamari Damacy.
Beautiful
But
Joe.
Was We Love Katamari? That was the second one, right?
Okami.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
But Katamari, I mean, so, Dark Cloud 2, you can buy that on the place. I mean,
You can buy that digitally.
I'm assuming
yeah.
he says you got a PS2, but I'm assuming he doesn't already have a PS4.
Yeah, Thorax. Do you have any other consoles? Answer right now.
Because it is hard to
Shadows of Rome.
It is hard to recommend a PS2 game that has not already been
Yeah, like
reproduced.
I would say,
on
like,
newer
oh,
consoles.
Metal Gear Solid 3, but obviously that's come out fucking multiple times since that
Yeah,
game
yeah.
was released.
Come on.
There's
Dark Cloud
still
2 is a good answer.
a lot of stuff that never
If you
went
only have a
anywhere.
PS2, there's so many things.
Robotech Battlecry. It's not that good.
Did Fatal
But
Frame
it's cool.
2 ever get re-released?
Yeah.
yeah, on
Yeah,
Xbox
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And we.
and we.
But yeah, there's a ton.
Find the Fatal Frame games. I mean, I think
Mobile
we just
Suit
need more
Gundam
information.
Encounters in Space. That was on PS2, and I don't think it's been on
There you
anything else. And it's probably also not a very good game. But
Okami's
Still
been
fun.
re-released too.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Most of them have been re-released.
Oh man, fuck. Zone of the Enders 2 been re-released.
There's just too many.
I mean, if you don't have any other consoles besides
Eco,
that,
Shadow
I
of the
mean,
Colossus.
Yeah, those are some good ones, and you can probably get them for fairly cheap at like
If you, I still say if you
used
like
game store.
horror games, Fatal Frame is a pretty unique franchise. That's primary homes on the PS2.
don't play any sports games.
those all got re-released digitally.
That's right.
Just three.
You all right, Crispy? Jesus. Next question.
All right, let's move on. Next question from Zero Skies. What would you rank everyone on the cast today from biggest spoon to smallest spoon if you all had to share a single bed?
What?
who's the big spoon?
I'm definitely the big spoon, right?
Okay, Brad's biggest spoon. Who's next biggest spoon?
I think that'd be you, Crispy.
Well, no, you're just going off of body size.
But isn't that how that works? I
Not
mean,
necessarily.
No.
It's more about where you would be.
Are you
in
talking
that.
about height?
No, you're talking about who's spooning who.
I want to be.
I feel like I want to be in the middle.
That's fine. I
wanna
want to
be
be.
third
I
spoon.
want to be the last spoon.
You want to be the smallest.
So then you
I'm the littlest spoon.
then you dictated it. It'd be Brad,
and I don't
Crispy,
want
me, and then you.
I don't want Nick to be the next spoon because he's too hairy. So
I
think
just
it'll
don't want to be in the middle.
So Brad,
I need some breathing
it'll be
room.
Brad, me, Chris Davis, Nick, Nolan.
Sure.
the real question is, where do
Why
we
do you
want
get
to be?
littlest spoon?
Where do we want to be on the human centipede? I call the front. I call the front.
Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know where, but I want my asshole to be sewn to Nolan's lips.
All right. Let's move on. You know what's gonna happen, Crispy?
You're gonna bite me?
Just
I don't think he can.
just all day. Just
Yeah, why wouldn't you try to like bite the person's asshole off to free yourself? Okay, next question.
I mean, that is a good point. In all honesty, couldn't you probably just push hard enough? And I know you're like face would probably rip, but
Okay.
I mean, I'd rather have a ripped face than like
Spend the rest of your life
Yeah.
sewn to my ass.
yeah.
Did y'all see that? Did y'all see the article that was like scientists are testing that what is essentially the Mass Effect like gel, like the healing gel, the sealed
yeah.
wounds?
I did see that.
Like, the first tweet I saw was, "Mark my words, this is going in someone's asshole. It's gonna seal someone's asshole up."
All right. Next
my
question
God.
from Alexander. Hey guys, looking forward to see y'all talk about Outer Worlds, but I wanted to ask something specific. Does the world feel a little more dead than, say, Fallout 3 or New Vegas? I don't mention 4 because I hate it, but still. Whenever I go into a town, like, nobody moves or does shit. The only thing they do is talk when you get close to them.
Yeah.
Also, the enemies seem a little uninspired to me.
The radiant
I'm
AI, they
only
don't have-
in the
oh.
first area still, so maybe it gets better, but I wanted to see what y'all think.
I mean, I think it's pretty comparable to Fallout. I mean, maybe they have more like
They
static
don't have. They don't
animations.
have the radiant AI. Or is that what they called it? Where people
Something
would
like
like
that.
go to sleep and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
They definitely have people that are sleeping, but I don't know if they're just
think they get
always
them. Yeah.
sleeping.
I mean, here's the thing: you do load in and out of places. So, like, if you go into a town at night, people may be in certain places, but they'll stay in those places until
Yeah.
you leave and then come back at a different time of day, and then they'll load into different places. I think that's how it works.
But they can't move while you're looking.
But I mean,
It
and
does
they
have,
may
like,
have
an
like
effect.
static animations where they stand still like in their spot, but then they may animate and move around and like look
Yeah.
different
I
directions.
mean, my assumption in that regard is maybe it is not as in depth as Bethesda's Radiant AI. But the thing is, this is also a smaller scope of a game, and they might not have had the resources to get that far.
But regardless, I still think I think it's a step up from Fallout. Even if maybe it's just because everything else around it is so polished that compared to Fallout that like it's just elevating that aspect.
I
of
mean,
it.
in that regard, in any Fallout game for them that I can think of, like in Fallout 3 or New Vegas, like almost every character you walk up to has a name.
Yeah.
Even if you can't like interact with them, it's
not
still
that-
like
not
Chris
the case
Smith
here,
or
yeah.
like what. And this, like everyone's like, oh, Resident.
Yeah.
Resident. But to me, that's almost like, oh, good, I can ignore this person. There's so much
That
shit to
person-
do. I don't need to worry about this
That
guy.
person can fuck off.
But yeah, I see what you're saying though. All right, let's move on. Next question from the Drunken Merchant. I hate advertisements.
Okay.
I totally understand why they exist, but maybe it's because many commercials are so poorly made, manipulative, and annoying that it makes me actually strive to never buy that specific product or service. My question to you all is, has there ever been a commercial or another form of advertisement, billboards, magazines, etc., that made you actually go out and buy that product?
I mean, movie,
I will say
movie
there's
trailers.
I will say there's definitely stuff that turns me off of a product. I agree with you there that like I don't like what they're doing, whatever. I'm gonna not buy
Mighty
that
Number 9.
product.
Remember that like a fucking anime fan on prom night. Remember that?
God,
Remember
I
that
forgot about
trailer?
that.
The launch trailer.
God, yes,
It was so annoying. Everyone was
Oh.
like, "Fuck this game."
it was bad.
I'm gonna say like basically advertisements that include like pictures or video of like
Boobies?
food
Oh.
works.
Well, that you know why that, right?
I mean,
Because people eat food.
Well, yeah. Number two, if you ever notice like those kind of advertisements and stuff, especially on radio or TV or whatever, they always come on like between like 11 and 1 and between like 5 and 8. That's when you see a lot more of them because that's when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Like the common
There's
times
a lot
of you
of
being
psychology
hungry
that goes
is when
into
those
that.
show up and they're like, oh, I could go for a Big Mac or some shit like that. And so, yeah, that's why, I mean, yeah, obviously those work because fucking, yeah, people eat all the time. When you see an advertisement for a hoverboard, it's not like, oh, man, when was the last time I had a hoverboard? I guess I'll go get one.
You see
know,
ads
like,
for hoverboards?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some
For
other
like
shit.
hover rounds?
Yeah.
Where they're like,
Hi, I'm Tom Cruise with the hover round.
I went to the Grand Canyon on my
Go,
hover
go,
round.
go in the hover round.
Okay.
I can't think of any other answers for this right now.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
know.
I don't really...
advertising and marketing in general is a really complex topic, and there's so
is.
many different approaches that can be taken to advertise something. Some of them work, some of them don't. Everyone's different, so everyone reacts to things totally differently. So
It
kinda
sucks when you're like, oh, like I really like alternate reality games and online mysteries and things like that. And it sucks when you're going through one of those and then it's just like, it's an ad for something.
Okay, so I retweeted this ad. So the thing is, like, someone in Drunk Merchant was mentioning specifically like advertisements that use like really like crappy skits or whatever.
Oh,
And that,
yeah.
those are really rarely do they work, but when they work, they work. And this is like
Go on.
like things like I didn't even think I needed or wanted. Was like I might be like, even if I'm not
Skittles.
shopping for it, like if I remember an ad because it was really funny or memory, I might be like, I really like how they handle their ad. Like it paints a better picture of the
Gotcha.
company. But like there was an ad for a mattress I retweeted a while ago. It was a commercial. It's like a 2-minute long commercial, and it was like it starts out. It's like a chase scene through an action movie, and there's these guys like get knocked through the door in someone's apartment, and they go into like this fucking like
And they both
yeah.
lay down on the bed.
yeah,
and
they
fall
both have
asleep.
like a Jason Bourne like fucking throwdown fight, and then they fall onto the fucking bed and they instantly fall asleep on the
Yeah.
mattress after like a minute and a half of just beating the shit out of each other. And
Now
I was
you
like,
own one of those mattresses.
I mean, I had just bought a mattress before I saw this. So,
But if you
but if
still
he
but if
was
I
on
was
the
still
market.
looking, if it was still looking,
You
I'd
know,
be like,
what's funny to me is like when you buy something off Amazon that is like very specific that only someone would ever need one of, and then you start getting ads for like more of them. It's like, why would I buy another?
It's
you know,
because those ads aren't actually coming from Amazon. They're coming from ad things that follow you through.
they don't
and
know
see
that you
your-
haven't bought it yet.
Yeah,
so
they
they're
don't know
trying
that
to-
you've bought it.
The
is
strategy
thing.
is like, oh, fuck that. You should return that and get the better one that we sell.
All right, one more question, I think.
You are correct, sir. Next question from Don Dolan. What's
Don
your
Dolan.
favorite? Oh, speaking of, today I went to lunch.
No.
I went to lunch with a couple of my coworkers. We went to Mod Pizza.
Yeah.
Get there, and she's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I was like, "Nolan," and she starts writing a D. And I'm like, "Did you think I said Dolan?" Is that like? And she's,
I know a Dolan.
She writes D, and I'm like Nolan, and she's like Dnolan.
Denolan?
And I'm like, "There's no D.
The D is silent.
Like, what are you talking
She's like,
about?"
wait a minute, where's the D?
you do spell it with a D, but it's silent.
My name's Michael with a B. Where's the B? There's a B.
What's your favorite Halloween memory?
Favorite Halloween memory?
God, I feel like
I mean, it's probably back when I used to trick or treat
so
all the
long
time.
ago. Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, my neighborhood like used to be where I lived growing up was really active on Halloween. So I feel like it's been forever since you could go out on Halloween. It was like just like kids everywhere, and
yeah.
like there. I remember there was one house at the end of my street that used to have like every Halloween they'd have like a big. They would sit on their porch dressed like a witch with like all these like fog machines, and like they had a cauldron, and they would like give out like punch.
Did you ever have any
that was
neighborhood
so
houses
cool.
that did their own haunted houses?
Oh yeah.
That I love that shit.
Dude, there's one in my neighborhood right now that I drive by on the way to work, and they had this like big elaborate like carnival like thing around their front door that looks like a evil clown, and they have a thing that says tickets here or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be cool on Halloween.
I have fond memories of like putting on my own like our own haunted house through like our church youth program,
Mm-hmm.
and every year we would do like a haunted house. I remember getting really into that, spooking people.
There is a memory that is like my primary trigger for like when I think of fall.
Yeah.
You know, like autumn, and it was when I was in elementary school and I went to like a fall/Halloween carnival at the school.
Yeah.
And that was the year that I dressed up as Han Solo and was like really fucking into my costume and everything. And it's just like, man, yeah, I'm never going to forget that.
I remember one year, some old lady, instead of handing out, I know this is not a great memory, instead of handing out candy, was handing out shower caps. Fuck that lady. And then another one I remember, and it wasn't trick or treating. So the church I went to when I was a kid, they had a fall festival.
Yeah.
So it was not a Halloween event; it was a fall festival.
Of course.
No pagan holidays.
Exactly. And so, but one of the things they had, they have all like the kind of carnival type stuff. But one of the things they had was like Rock'em Sock'em robots. But you get in the robot.
What?
Yeah, so it's like you're
Crispy's
literally
eyes just lit up.
you're
So
literally
it's just
sitting.
fighting.
Yeah, no,
It's
you're
just
literally
boxing.
sitting in like its chest cavity, so not its head, and you have this little like window, and you have these buttons, and you're literally fucking. And it was the coolest
You were one
shit
of
in
the
the
fancy
world.
churches? Some mega
Dude,
church?
I went to like the biggest church in
mega
Houston.
church?
It was a mega. It was
A Texas-style mega
It
church.
was Houston First Baptist. It was like the biggest fucking church.
It was Robot Jesus? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Robot Jesus. It's that's where I went when I was a kid, but it was the fucking best time I ever had.
Murder.
And when you knocked off the other person, like the robot's head, it made like a spinning bird, like tweets, like noises or whatever. Dude, it was the coolest shit in the world.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, that's it from our patron questions.
He was like, "Get away from my candy, you bitch."
That's exactly what happened.
Sick aliens reference.
Good reference.
Now let's get to some questions from our supporters on Twitch. Woo! We got one
Alrighty.
from
I think it's Tack.
Tack. Yeah. A number of video games recently have included narrative parallels to real-life subject matter, often very sensitive subject matter at that. Do you guys find these parallels to have an effect on your overall opinion of the game, or is it usually just an afterthought?
I think it's funny you add.
It really depends.
I feel
Depends
like
on how
I feel
it's
like
done.
Call of Duty may have inspired this question because of what we were discussing earlier.
Duty.
Because like, and like I said with Modern Warfare, this is an unfortunate, like they had no way of foreseeing this happening, but like just the similarities or maybe lacks of similarities between what's happening in Syria right now and what the whole like driving force of this game is just really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Outside, like I'm having trouble thinking of other examples outside of
Well, there's
that just
a
'cause
lot
it's so
of
recent.
There's a lot of stuff like the one I'm specifically remembering is Far Cry 5.
Oh right.
But there's a lot of stuff. What
good point.
does it for me is when a publisher wants to lean on a real world issue that has real weight and real importance to people for the purposes of selling a game that then has
Nothing
no
to-
interest in saying anything about that.
Yeah.
Or like leaning into it all. It's like if you're trying to sell people on the idea that your game is art
Yeah.
that
It should
has
say
something to say and not just a frivolous consumer product, and then when it comes out it's just a frivolous consumer product, and the people who are like, okay, well, what the fuck was with you stirring up all that shit about this?
I mean, you're
when you don't like
The marketing
You're very
team
right.
is different than the.
yeah.
That's a good
You're
point.
very right about Far Cry 5. Because,
But I still think that that's like that's valid. Like that, it's very valid to criticize a piece of work within the context of its own release and what is going on around it.
yeah.
You know, not like all reviews shouldn't take place in a completely like hermetic vacuum.
Yeah.
Like there is a larger cultural context to everything that's going on.
For
I was
sure.
thinking most about Detroit Become Human.
Yeah,
for sure.
okay.
Like that's super effective for me. When those androids were in the back of the bus, I was like, damn.
Yes, like that.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That's actually what
like
Tack
that.
was. That's what Tack
I
says.
mean,
That's
it's
what
like-
inspired the question.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Can we
it's
not
like,
talk about my number 10 game of 2018? All right. All right.
I think it does a disservice
I think it's
to
good.
people
good.
who have to deal with this as part of their real life,
Yeah.
whatever the issue may be. I think it also does disservice to games, which we all like to talk and think about like games as being something more than just frivolous little entertainment. Like we want to imagine there's some kind of artistic quality to it, and there is a lot of artistry and a lot of artisanship.
Yeah.
Sorry, in games and in the making of games. Okay,
Yeah.
if you're going to tell me that like you're trying to do something like that though, and then you don't, it's completely valid to
Absolutely.
call you on that shit.
You're right, and that's
Like,
probably one of my biggest disappointments.
You're just cheapening the idea that games can be art.
That was my biggest disappointment with Far Cry 5 was that like I was really sold on the idea of the setting and like the subject matter they were very clearly leaning on for that product, and just the direction they went, it was like a fucking left turn, and it never circled back around and said anything meaningful about it or put you in a situation where you had to think about the situation in a meaningful way. So that was
Yeah, I mean, if
really
you're gonna show
unfortunate.
up, like, come prepared.
There we go. Very, very true. Very true. All right. Thank you again for all the questions, guys. And of course, if you want to support us on Patreon, if you support us at the $1 tier or higher, you can ask us anything you want on the show. So, patreon.com/4Player. I'm going to go ahead and, of course, we also give people the opportunity, if you support us at the $3 tier or higher, you can fill out our supporter spotlight form, answer some general questions about yourself and your taste in games, and we'll read we'll pick someone at random every week and read your responses. Our supporter spotlight this week is Necro Techno, who I don't think I've seen in chat tonight, but her name is Eden. Cool name. And she's from Australia, but she's temporarily living in England. Very cool. So I'm just going to pick a couple things here from her list. I always like to do... top 5 lists are fun, right? Let's do her
Sure.
top 5 games of all time.
Top 5.
Top 5. All right, I'm going to do the guessing thing. Persona.
4.
Nope, you're
3.
Nope, you're all wrong.
5?
5.
Ooh.
Persona 5 has a lot of problems. In particular, Atlas is notoriously homophobic and transphobic. But the themes of anti-authoritarianism and collective action against unjust hierarchies is a welcome message at this time in the general political discourse. That's a very...
Sure.
There you go.
Very true.
Insightful.
Number 4, Nier.
Automata.
Near.
I wonder...
Just near.
No, Nier Automata. Much discussed on the show already, but there is a reason for the explosive success of this game. Of all things Nier Automata has to offer, I adored the thematic layering of the cyclical approach to storytelling the most. I wish I could forget it to experience it again. That's always a good sign of that game's going to be like one of your favorites of all time. If you feel like you would like to wipe your memory of it just so you could experience it again. That's always.
I kind of almost bought that game again the other day.
I enjoyed.
You had such a complex relationship with that game, Crispy.
Yeah, well,
I
that's good.
enjoyed the layering as
not a lot.
well.
I see what you did
The
there. Don't
bottom
worry.
layering.
Number 3, nothing to guess here. Pyre.
Pyre.
I should have just said it's a fucking Supergiant game.
Pyre.
The first but not last Supergiant game to make my list. Wait, I feel like, did I already read this list? This sounds very familiar.
This does not sound familiar to me.
No, I've not heard someone say Pyre.
Okay.
My soundtrack of the year that year.
Pyre wonderfully contrasts a fun sports-like event system with their usual emotionally charged storytelling into one very satisfying game loop.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful experience. I wish I had finished that game. I played like half of it.
Too much reading.
Very-
But you got Disco Elysium now.
Fuck off. Number 2, Caves of Qud?
Cud.
Qud? Q-U-D?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar with this
yeah.
game. I'm just surprised.
A quirky roguelike that is
Yeah.
brimming with surprises. So much love has gone into crafting every aspect of this experience. The depth is unbelievable. A must-try for fans of the genre. Yeah, I've never heard of that one. It's a good one.
That came
And
out pretty recently, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
in fact, most of these games are fairly recent. I wonder how old this person is. Number 1.
That's not a question we asked, Nick.
I
It's not
know.
about the age. They could have maybe discovered
Maybe-
games.
that's true.
recently.
Yeah,
I
Nick,
was a late bloomer myself. I'm
Stop
not trying to offend.
gatekeeping.
I'm a late bloomer
Yeah,
myself.
play a Super Nintendo game, Nick.
God, Nick.
Fuck Super
Read
Nintendo.
a fucking comic book, you
Oh.
fucking piece of shit.
Read The Watchmen.
Okay.
Fucking
Number
hate you,
1
Nick.
is what Supergiant game do you think is her favorite game of all time?
Transistor.
Good guess.
I saw it on your phone.
Damn it! The second Supergiant game to make my list. I played Transistor at a time in my life where I was struggling with mental illness and addiction, and the game's themes of identity, agency, moral ambiguity, and sacrifice struck a chord with me. To me,
cool.
it's a masterpiece.
Nice.
I'm actually really excited to. I picked that up on Switch recently, and I'm planning on playing.
Supergiant's
that here pretty soon.
awesome. I can't wait for Hades to finally come out of early access.
Oh,
That's true.
God. Forgot about that.
Let's see.
On the Epic Store.
Why don't I do her? Hold on.
Do her?
hold on.
You're gonna-
4-player minute maybe.
Guys.
No, I'm gonna pick something else. Let's do.
Whoa, Rich
what
Jones
is the
ready.
game? We
Yellow
asked.
card.
What is the game that you feel has defined the current console generation and why? All right, here you go, Brad.
Good question.
You're gonna like this. My initial instinctual answer to this question was Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
I think it's because as a series, Monster Hunter has blossomed from a niche action game to a broadly recognized IP, thanks to Monster Hunter World, and this is in parallel with the broader trend of games being accepted as an artistic medium
In the West.
in the West. Yes, very true.
Already a monster,
Very true.
so to speak.
I see what you did there. She goes on to say, the more pessimistic answer for this is Fortnite, though. Games are not just a medium of beautiful art, but also a passionate space for capital to colonize. This space, currently full of life and interesting stories to be told, is threatening to become another arena in which capital will exploit and ravage into a soulless husk for the purpose of profit.
I like this person.
Please note this isn't a reflection of my feelings on Fortnite players who are just regular people subject to the whims of the systems they exist under. It's a critique of neoliberal capitalism. Damn.
I'm into it.
I really appreciate the way you've articulated your
Is this
thoughts.
just-
Is this just crispy? That's funny. Well, thank you, Necro/Eden. We really appreciate your responses. Again, if you are a supporter on Patreon or Twitch, there is a supporter spotlight channel in our Discord called it's called Supporter Spotlight, and there is a pinned link in there. Just click that link. You can fill out your answers to the questions there, and we may pick you at random and read your responses on a future show. But now, let's wrap this bitch up with the 4-player minutes. Brad, are you ready to go?
Yes. What's the 4-player minute, Nick?
Hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you, or any combination thereof.
Or whatever.
Or whatever the fuck you feel
Whatever.
like.
Fuck you.
My hype is for a game that just came out called After Party.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
forgot that
is-
came out this week.
This is the new game from the people that made Oxenfree. This is sort of a
Yeah.
kind of a spiritual successor to Oxenfree, except it's like crazier because you're like two friends who died and now you're drinking your way through hell. I think you're trying to outdrink the devil or whatever to maybe get out of hell. Yeah, it's like, it looks really cool.
You're trying to outdrink the devil.
That is correct.
Yeah. My sweat is a game also came out this week called Manifold Garden.
Mm-hmm. We've seen that at several.
Oh
It's like
my
it's like a
God,
really
yes.
really cool puzzle game. My sweat though is that it's on Apple Arcade for free, right? Essentially, right? But like I don't want to play that on the phone, so I'm like,
You gotta
like,
play that on PC.
yeah. So it's like, do I already started it on phone?
Dude,
so it's
that-
but it's $20 on PC, and it's like
We played that a few years ago at E3, and it is.
It's fucking cool. I know. I
fucking
played
dope.
it too. I was there.
And that guy has been working his ass off by himself on that game for
man.
so
Dude.
long.
And it's I don't know. I think this game and After Party they're
That-
kind of flying under the radar, but like these are like indie games people should be playing.
Manifold Garden is one of those games that if you play it, just think about the fact that one guy developed this, and you'll blow your mind.
It's crazy. Well, just looking at it will
Just looking at it will make you blow your mind.
My fuck you for this week goes to the weather on Halloween. It's going to be 45 degrees at 7 p.m. here. Where I trick or treat. And this is the third Halloween in a row where the weather has been too shitty for a kid to be roaming around a neighborhood. And
Brad's mad that he has to go around with Henry.
Global
he
warming.
wanted to just let him go.
Global warming.
No, I mean it really sucks because like Halloween's my favorite holiday. I just want to go trick or treating with my son. 3 Halloweens in a row, and I still can't probably. So fuck you, weather. Everyone go pollute the next 2 days. Maybe we'll raise the temperature a little bit. No,
Please don't.
no.
That's gonna make.
Is that not how that
don't.
works?
More.
Okay. And my thank you for this week goes to Fatal Frame 4 in chat. Fatal Frame. He very often will like link me to games that he thinks are cool, games that he thinks I think I'd be interested in, and I really do appreciate when he does this because even though I don't always respond, I always check the links because I might be at work or something.
No one links me games.
And he messaged me this game, said like, "Yo, no one's really talking about this game, but there's very few reviews. But the few reviews for this game seem to be like effusive. Like people seem to be really digging this game. It's called M.O. Astray, and he linked me a trailer, and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this actually looks really cool. But there's nothing. There's no professional reviews. There's no video. I can't find a video of someone talking about the game on YouTube. But the trailer I watched, and I was like, geez, this looks great. It sucks that an indie game that could even look really nice would not be talked about or played in this day and age. It's a shame. Mm-hmm. But then he went ahead and gifted me the game, which he didn't have to do, but I really do appreciate it. So now I will check it out, probably stream at some point tomorrow.
Cool.
During
Talk
the day.
about it on this show.
It's called M.O. Astray. Look it up. Watch a trailer. It looks really cool. I don't know much about it, but that was the whole point. That's why he gifted it to me, because no one's really talking about it. So I guess I'm here to talk about it.
Cool.
After I try it.
All right, Nolan.
And now Carlos is going to play it. I hate Carlos.
My 4-player minute starts now. My hype is maybe for Disco Elysium. That seems like it might be kind of interesting.
God,
It starts, guys.
One of y'all. Well, Krispy already bought it. Oh, and you bought it.
I bought it.
But Krispy bought it. Krispy actually.
This is how
I see a world where neither of y'all play it. Like, just for whatever reason, something happens. I'm not. Like I'm saying, I'll be so sad if someone doesn't really kind of deep dive.
Hey,
on
remember
it.
last year where we slowly started talking about Return of the Obra Dinn, then all of a sudden we had all played it.
True. But this is a lot of reading. It gets crazy. I'm telling you.
I can learn how to read.
It gets crazy. Yeah. You have a few days to learn how to read.
I
Nick.
can read good.
All right, my next hype is for Luigi's Mansion 3. That's about to come out.
Yeah,
I'm
that's true.
kind of excited for
Yeah.
that. It's been a while
can you
since
play the whole game
since
co-op?
Dark
Did you play
Moon.
2?
I played
Dark Moon. Yeah, that's
Is
2.
that 2? Okay, then
Yeah.
yes, I played Dark Moon.
Can I Gooigi with Malia the entire game?
Think so.
I mean, this is America. She's your wife.
Your own home.
All right, moving on. My sweat is for Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Guys, can you believe that's coming out next Friday?
I've been seeing some weird stuff. Like
People are people are restless because people have been playing it for a while now, and people really want to talk about it. So you listen to podcasts and stuff, and people are restless. I've noticed it, and I even saw a thread on Era commenting on that fact of people seem really antsy about wanting to talk about this thing, and people are kind of inferring things based on what some people said, like jokes here and there. Someone made a Death Stranding joke on the Beastcast because they played a bowling game, and they're like, oh, it's all about, going from, one coast to the other, connecting various bowling alleys, through walking or whatever. And then the other guy who's been playing Death Stranding is like, wow, that sounds really boring.
Oh, no.
And it was Dan Reichert, who's the most diehard Kojima fan in the world. He literally thinks Kojima is the greatest storyteller of our time. That scares me.
It does scare me a little bit, but I will say this: it's strange that an embargo is lifting so far ahead of its release. It's a week in advance of its release, and the embargo lifts this Friday.
Yeah,
which is strange.
So we'll know. We'll know
find out
soon. It's exciting either way. If this thing is a train wreck, which honestly, Dan Reichert is a little bit of a train wreck himself. So we'll see. if you ever, you know.
I know what you mean.
But we'll see. If this thing is a train wreck, it's still exciting. You know, I want to live in a world where weird, you know, auteur type designers who are like obsessed with Hollywood and
It could
themselves.
be a really entertaining train wreck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that than like another boring game. You know,
All right.
Absolutely.
And continuing my 4-player minute.
yeah,
My high
What else can we hijack from you, Nolan?
yeah.
sweat
I'm a hijack.
scared is I'm going to be spending this weekend at Circuit of the Americas.
I'm also worried about Circuit of the Americas.
For the F1 event that's going on all weekend.
Oh, wait, why?
What do you mean why?
Because he's going to F1.
Oh, you just want? Oh,
I'm sure.
you made it sound like. Never mind.
I Bernadette
Oh, okay.
has been
that's
really into
right,
F1
that's
lately.
right, yeah, that's
and
right,
for
that's
her
right, that's right.
birthday,
Okay.
I got us 3-day passes.
She doesn't know.
No, she knows.
She's watching.
To F1 this weekend. So we're going to be going to that. I don't really know what to expect.
Oh, a lot of cars going
yeah,
around.
I realize that. Thank you. They go around several times.
They go vroom vroom.
In fact. But yeah. So I'm optimistic.
It should be a fun experience.
No,
one way or
yeah,
another.
yeah, definitely.
Also, happy belated birthday to Bernadette.
Thank you.
HBD.
So at least the weather's not too bad.
Happy birthday. See, he doesn't read enough. He doesn't read.
He's like, I know those are symbols that mean something.
Isn't that a Hitman level? Yeah. Just think of it like a Hitman level. Think of like all the different ways to like kill a singular person.
I usually don't walk around thinking that.
This is unrelated, but that reminded me of like I saw some people online were tweeting about Star Wars, and somebody was like, "Wouldn't it be really funny if they just like revealed that like Rey just is illiterate, like can't read?" She's like, "Oh, we have to go find the first Jedi temple to decipher these ancient texts," and someone's like, "Rey, that's just cursive." like,
Oh, I can change that to a fuck you because you have to buy parking for this event.
Yeah.
You can't just go there and park.
Welcome to parking at I've been going to
Hey.
the past few concerts I've gone to have been there. Parking is terrible.
If you join the race, you just don't have to park. You
There
just
you
keep
go.
driving.
And so the thing is, I couldn't buy like they were sold out of 3-day parking passes.
Yeah.
And so I had to buy like individual day parking passes. But the way their website's fucking set up, you can't buy multiple. You have to buy them one at a time. And each one comes with a $6.50 online fee. And so I call and I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I have to pay $20 in convenience fees so I can park there, so I can pay for parking.
Wait, how much are the actual parking tickets?
Like $40.
oh my
Like,
god.
it's ridiculous.
A day?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I calculated it. It would still cost more if I tried to like Uber and stuff like that. So I was like, whatever. But then I called and she was like, or you can just ring you up over the phone and it's only $10 total. And I was like, fuck you, fine. Like, Jesus Christ.
Fuck you.
That's pretty good use of a fuck you right there.
Yeah.
Isn't this convenient?
Yeah.
Speaking of fuck yous, fuck City of Austin for doubling their parking fees for street parking.
Yeah, they did do that recently.
Did do that at the recommendation of a parking council, which is fucking made up of all the assholes who own
Because
the parking
it used to
garages.
be $1 an hour, and now it's
$2.
$2 an hour.
All right, Crispy, hit us up with your 4-player minute.
I feel like I just got a reduction in pay. My hype is for Disco Elysium. It sounds like exactly my brand of bullshit, and it sounds like it's scratching an itch that I have been thinking of for a while and like just didn't know where to go. You know? Didn't know where to get my satisfaction. So we'll see what's up with that. My sweat is for BlizzCon. Is for whatever
the fuck that's gonna end up
whatever
being.
kind of fucking shit show is gonna come out of BlizzCon, because I feel like there's gonna be something, but I'm also secretly shamefully hyped for like Diablo 4 and Overwatch.
Shame on you.
And I'm a
Shame.
terrible person who hates freedom. Yes.
We also hate devotion, and we love China.
Yes.
We hate May.
I'm a fucking piece of shit who, yes, deserves to be ridiculed for this, but like if they came out, you know what? Yeah, fuck, I'll say if they come out and they're like, yeah, Diablo 4 is real and it is that fucking first person action bullshit Destiny.
That's
like,
more exciting.
I'm gonna be so like there for that.
Alrighty,
Like,
you
fuck.
heard it here first.
I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows?
Gotta
Next
keep
week,
it interesting.
Next week I might be all salty. Who fucking knows?
Can't be worse than Diablo.
Yeah, well, you're mean, Brad.
You didn't make the game,
I know, but I like the game.
so you also like broccoli, right? I fuck broccoli, so fuck you.
I don't like broccoli, but I get along.
do you like
with
Are we
onions?
ever gonna get to these
Do you like
4-player
onions?
minutes?
I love onions.
Okay, I hate onions.
Please.
Oh, that's weird. That's just weird. My other sweat / hype / fuck you, I guess, is for Jedi Fallen Order. They finally put out the
release
launch
trailer.
trailer for it. And it's like, man, there's still like a lot of grumblings on the sidelines of people who've like played the game who are like, no, you guys don't understand. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of Dark Soulsy.
But the trailer doesn't really do a good job of.
But the
like,
trailer doesn't do a good job. I mean, like, the trailer is mostly just story shit.
Yeah.
You know,
selling-
and like none of the gameplay trailers they put out, although they did put out like an hour-long gameplay demo a while ago, and there was some more stuff to that, and they were getting into like the different locations and kind of the non-linear nature of the game,
Yeah.
which
I'm secretly
I'm
hyped,
like
man.
real
I'm-
fucking excited for. I mean, like I'm almost at maximum Star Wars boner as we gear up for
Rise of the Skywalker.
as we
Or-
gear up for December. And then one more thing to mention, fuck you, City of Austin, lower parking rates, fuck you, and fuck you, Nick. Read a goddamn book.
I knew that was gonna be tacked on at
Fucking
the end there.
read Watchmen, Nick.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're enjoying the show, right?
yes, I pulled up Amazon so I could take a look, see if I can find it on Amazon. Okay, you bitch.
are.
I will report back if I can find it.
It's really good.
All right. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype this week is for The Beast Inside, which is a horror game that looked really cool, but like I was like, there's no way this is actually, because it was one of those kickstarted horror games. You never know how those are going to turn out. But it got a lot of really positive buzz from like Steam reviews and whatnot, and it's not a ton of reviews out there, but it looks really fucking cool. So I'm going to be playing that on Wednesday and Thursday night on the stream. Come check it out. I'll probably be starting around 9:30ish both of those nights.
It's not super short.
I know.
You would think.
I mean, I'm not planning
it
on
would be.
finishing it on both
Okay.
those nights. I will finish it on the stream probably, but I'm gonna. Those are the first 2 nights I'm gonna play it. So I'm excited to give that a try. My shame. So I've talked a lot about being really excited for Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. I decided I was in. I like it's just gotten to the point where it's like I can't stop thinking about it, and I was like I want to play it so bad, but I don't want to wait 2 weeks. So I decided what I was gonna do. I was going to create a completionist like checklist, right? Of all the things that I'm going to do. Because I want to see, my goal with this is to see every inch of content in that game.
That's such a weird
And it has gotten...
goal
and
for a replay.
I know, dude, but it just...
Why? No,
I
don't
fucking-
think it
I
is.
Because I'm worried he might burn himself out.
I fucking love
Burn
to see
himself out
I've already played
on
the
Red
game.
Dead so he won't play it anymore?
I mean,
Yeah,
like
see
what?
the story.
He's
mean,
played the story.
Dude, I've finished the game. I played 130 hours. I'm going to do it again. Like, this is going to be like my background game that I play for like probably a year or two. But like I started fleshing out this checklist, and it's one of the geekiest things I've ever done in my life.
Really get into that horse ball mechanic.
Dude, I'm talking about like mapping out where all the stranger missions are, mapping out where all the cigarette cartons are, like all of that shit.
That's.
Woo!
Are you gonna brush all the horses?
I feel like
Yes.
you're really prone to like getting lost in the minutia and then like hating your fucking life. So,
I might.
I don't
I might.
understand why you're setting yourself up for this kind of failure.
I will report back and tell you how it's going, but I'm super fucking excited. On another shameful note, this is the second year in a row I've taken a day off work for the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. So
that's
there's that.
I don't think there's anything to be ashamed about.
My thank you of the week goes
Fuck
to
work.
Brad. Thank you for opening my eyes to Disco Elysium and how maybe it isn't. How maybe it is something that I should
Well,
consider playing.
I mean-
or trying at least.
I mean, I hope you enjoy it. I didn't necessarily recommend it to you
I know.
specifically.
But I
But-
can make my own decisions, Brad. I'm an adult
Okay,
human
no,
being,
I'm proud of you.
and I think it looks really fucking cool.
All I know is I like it a lot. It's
And
kind of blowing my
you
mind.
should have Robin read it.
I
to
believe I mean this when I say this, Brad. You have turned me on to many different. You have turned me on to many different video gaming experiences that I wouldn't have otherwise tried, and I feel like this might be another one of those. So
you. You're so good at
thank
turning
you.
me on.
Thank you, and
Just know I didn't specifically sell this one to you. So if you don't like it, don't be mad at me.
And I'm gonna do another hype.
There's no guarantee.
I'm gonna also jump on the hype train with Krispy for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know if Death
delegitimize my
Stranding falls through. Star Wars is gonna be coming up right up
But
behind.
they got
to pick it up.
lightsabers and force powers and stuff,
And that all sounds great. That all sounds great.
and Star Wars.
I gotta say though, like nothing is cooler than the ladder thing in Death Stranding. And I know that sounds stupid.
the giant ladder.
I know
I
it
have
sounds
no idea what
stupid,
you're talking
but
about.
to have like,
like, there's a ladder that
terrain
you can
that
use
is
to
like
traverse
so
the
Didn't know that.
untraversable, but have it to be
like
instantly
you can like, pull out a
traversable.
ladder and lay it across.
That's
like, a
cool.
valley.
Didn't know that.
Do you know?
He's in total shutdown, like blackout mode.
I
He
have
doesn't-
been for
he
fucking
doesn't
a
wanna hear
long-ass
any of it.
time.
You want to know?
It's a ladder.
You know a story that Carlos
Spoilers.
told me when we first met, like near when we first met, and he was like super serious and like kind of passionate about it. He told me that he's like, "Hey, Brad, I want to design a video game. It's like an action game, right? Like God of War, but you use ladders. You have all different kinds of ladders, and ladders is what the combat's all about. And you're like climbing ladders and using ladders."
Chris
like,
is here laughing. It's like I can tell.
he was super sincere, and this was when I first met him. This was like before he became like a fucking meme, right? He was all about this ladders action
before he
game.
devolved into a literal walking human meme.
And now 10 years later, where's this ladder game,
Where's
Carlos?
the ladder game, Carlos?
Look at your life.
Watch Carlos is in Death Stranding. Has
Man,
Carlos
there's
taken?
a lot of cool mechanics.
Has
to pull
Carlos
out of that.
taken any sudden like leave of absences that we didn't know about, where maybe he flew to Japan and like got?
He
Kojima's
wasn't
not
at
in
work
Japan.
today.
He did go to Germany.
It could
for
happen.
that one time
Oh
for an
my
extended
god!
period of time.
All
And we
right.
were like, Carlos is in Germany? What?
All right, guys, we need to wrap this show up. Thank you so much for listening tonight, guys. We really appreciate it. If you're watching us live, or if you're listening at home, we really appreciate it. Again, if you are not a member of our Discord, please take a moment to join. It's discord.gg/4player. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player, and you can find all of our old podcast shit at 4playernetwork.com. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, Thursday night, for some good horror streams, and we'll be back next Tuesday for another episode, or maybe it might be Monday or Wednesday. I don't know. It might be different next
We'll
week
be
too.
back in the future.
We'll be back in the near future. Again, for the short time being right now, we are doing shows on Tuesdays instead of our usual Thursdays, but that'll go back to normal in December.
But next week,
Next week might be different.
Brad, he literally just said that.
We will let everybody know. Anyways, thank you for listening. We will catch you later. Good night.
Bye.